Hey everyone, today is Thursday, the 2nd of April 2020. This is The Gap, episode 510. I'm Luke Lawrie. Joab Gilroy is here, and Joab, did Carol Baskins actually do it?
This is a Tiger King thing. I haven't watched it, so I don't want to fucking hear anymore.
Oh, okay.
Don't fucking spoil it for me.
It is.
I'm about to watch it.
How is it that you've gone a week and not watched anything?
Yeah.
You know we're in isolation at the moment. What else are you doing?
Playing Monster Train.
Right.
Yeah. No, I keep meaning to, and then I go to, and then I don't. So yeah, but it looks bananas. My problem was, right, because my little brother told me about this fucking show weeks ago. He was like wilding out about it, but the way he described it made it sound like it was some sort of fucking reality show. And he watches reality shows,
Right.
Right, and I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking tune this shit out. And so it's sort of like slotted all, like, you know how you mute things on Twitter, it just like auto slots. Anytime anyone brings up Tiger King, you're like, I don't care. I don't care. And then like more and more people are talking about it and they're going fucking bananas for it. I'm like, this doesn't seem like some sort of tiger related Married at First Sight. There must be something more to this. And so I very, very, very carefully attempted to look into it to work out whether or not it was a reality show or not.
It's not.
It's not.
No.
It's a documentary or something.
It's a documentary. Yeah, that's right.
Like, but yeah.
But it could be a reality show because it, like, I guess the decision to film that documentary would have been interesting because the direction it goes in just seems like ridiculous. Like you're talking about a reality TV show because it just goes in places you do not expect. Like, you couldn't write this shit. That's the sort of stuff it goes into.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
insane.
Well. Yeah. I'm keen to watch it now, but yeah, for the longest time I just kept putting it off. Yeah. And so yeah, now I'm way behind the curve, I guess.
You are. It's nearly like over. You're too late. I feel like this is it.
Oh, the discourse is finished. Nobody cares about Tiger King. I'll be like, has everyone watched this fucking Tiger King? And we're like, shut the fuck up, Joe. We're all onto the fucking Seal Jester now. Like, Tiger King's so fucking boring. Nobody gives a fuck. We're like, oh, cool. Like, how come nobody watched McMillions? Did you watch McMillions, Luke?
No.
See?
Is this a documentary about McDonald's?
Sort of.
Okay.
It's a documentary about the giant group of people who defrauded the McDonald's Monopoly game.
Oh, yeah.
For literally millions of dollars. Like millions and tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's all about them. And that one's pretty bananas. Like, I learned from that FBI agents are fucking goofy motherfuckers. Like, not incompetent, just absolute goofballs. Like, weird shit.
Yeah.
Surely nothing on Tiger King. It's going to seem tame compared to Tiger King now, but it is a pretty good watch. See, I picked the wrong fucking documentary.
Yeah. Tiger King starts off as like it's a documentary about this wacky dude and tigers, and like starts off here and then just snowballs into like these other like 12 other things. You're like, how the fuck did they find this person? Not only how did they obviously the director found this person and thought they were making a documentary about this thing, but then it just goes like fucking completely left field. So yeah, just like the luck of doing that over filming a documentary over 5 years and it just going completely insane. You know, it's very different to like, I don't know, doing a documentary about a murder or something. Like, what was that? The Lives and Deaths of Robert something? I can't remember what it was. Was the Lives and Deaths of someone? I think you've watched that one. Like, just about a murderer, right? Like, you kind of know what you're getting into, but then this one just goes in completely opposite direction. You're like, all right, this is where we're going now. Fair enough. Cool. It just sort of goes in a different direction every episode. You're like, this is fucking insane. Like, this isn't real. You're about 2 episodes into the last one. Like, there's like 2 left. You're like, nah, this is made up. It's going to be like a April Fool's joke at the end of this or something.
Right.
Anyway,
All right.
you should get on that.
All right, I will.
Maybe watch like 2 episodes and I think we did it over like 3 or 4 days, something like that, like 3 episodes a night. So it's only 7 or 8 episodes, I think, in total.
There's so much to watch. That's my problem.
Yeah.
I still haven't watched Mr. Robot.
Okay.
Like
the first season or
no?
season?
I watched the first 2 seasons. I just haven't watched the 3rd season.
Yeah, I think I'm up to the 3rd or 4th. I can't remember.
I think there's only 3 seasons.
We've just started because Westworld just started up again, season 3.
Yeah.
So we're watching that at the moment.
I've been watching that.
That's good because it's gone in a different direction. Like the first 2 seasons were very Western, and this has gone like the first season was very Western. Second season is Western mixed in with a bunch of other stuff, and this one's gone like full cyberpunk.
Full cyberpunk. I love it. Except for, like we were talking about it. I was talking about it, and fucking like Fee and Katie are all like, I want more Maeve. I'm like, how? If you watch that second episode, how the fuck could you want more Maeve? Minor spoilers for, I guess, two weeks ago Westworld, but it's literally that episode of Rick and Morty where they're trying to like crack the safe. Those aliens, starring David Cross, who don't want to look at penises, trying to crack the safe, and she solves it the same way.
Right?
Like, come on, get the fuck out of here! And it's got that French dude from the Ocean's movies that I don't like. I can't understand anything he says. How are you going to be French and have some sort of like be like the precursor to mumble rap? It's insane. I can't understand him. Anyway, he probably can't understand me. It's probably, and I don't. I'm not some crazy handsome French guy, so he's probably got that over me. But whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck off with that shit. Just all Dolores. All Jesse Pinkman, whatever the fuck his name is.
I don't even know it. I think it's Jesse Pinkman. I think that is his name in the show.
Yeah. That's. I'm pretty sure. It's just him. And he keeps having flashbacks to that time something horrifying happened in his past, and you're like, yeah, we know, we saw Breaking Bad. Anyway,
sorry, I was gonna say what I'm worried about though for Westworld is it gets like canned or something because apparently it's not doing too well.
Well, see, that's the thing, right? They don't do, like, shows like Westworld don't do well, like, on a nightly basis.
Yeah. They
exist on the +7, the fucking DVR watches.
That's I've been doing them, because over here it starts at pretty early, I think. I think it's like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock it's on.
Yeah,
and it sort of replays through the night, and then we watch it about 9 p.m. on DVR. Yeah. So,
like, that's it, right? Like, it's 2020. Nobody's telling me when I have to watch a fucking TV show anymore. I am not watching anything at the time that it's aired.
Yeah.
Anymore, like, it just doesn't happen. But yeah, like,
which is weird because it's done, I think, in terms of the numbers, they were looking at, like, the drop-off was like 50% between episode or the end of season 2 and where season 3 picks up. And the reason why I got back into it is because I saw the trailer for season 3. I was like, what the fuck? Like, how did they get here? I gotta catch up.
The previously on in the first episode of Westworld season 3, I was watching it. I'm like,
I don't remember any of this.
What the fuck? What show is this from? What the fuck is going on here? Anyway, very confusing.
Yeah, I hope they finish it, or at least like announce they've got one more season left and they'll wrap it up, as opposed to them getting the end of this one and being like, all right, it's been cancelled. Fuck.
Yeah, they better.
Yeah.
Anyway. Video games.
Let's just kick off. Call of Duty got an update after you complained about it on IGN. They listened to you, Joab.
Straight away. Anytime I write anything on IGN, the developers immediately listen to me.
Yeah, they delayed the patch, and then we're like, we got to fix the patch.
Oh shit! We better fucking yeah. They loadouts now cost $8,500. It's an inconsequential adjustment, in my opinion. 6,000 to 8,500 doesn't fucking matter. I can eke out another $2,500 in like another 15 seconds. It's literally no change, in my opinion. It's the dumbest shit. They need to add a 1 on the front of that fucking number for it to actually function correctly.
Or make them one-time uses.
Like single player use. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I think the problem with it being like a one-time use then comes into how do you limit that box for yourself? Like if you call something in and your team is
they
there,
already do it.
Do they? You have to initiate it first.
Well, they limit it to your team.
No, I'm talking about But what if you're playing squad solo and you throw one down and someone else snakes it from you, like the sort of trolling stuff that would go on? I think you'd need
what I'm saying is if they've got the capacity to limit loadout to a team only, then it makes sense that they would be able to limit to a player only. Like, I think the system is already in place for them to do that because they already do it on a team by team. Like, if someone buys a loadout drop, I can't run up and steal their loadout drop.
Yeah.
I can steal the randoms, but, like, yeah, I can't steal another team's purchased loadout drop. So that function already exists within the game. So I don't see.
Can you not steal another team's loadout drop?
No.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Absolutely cannot. Yeah.
All right, but yeah, okay. So another on top of that, limiting your teammates, like giving some sort of indication whether or not you want them to be able to access it. Like, say I buy it for you, or I want to buy it for me. How do I tell the game that that's for me, as opposed to you snaking my?
You just have to drop the money. I think you'd have to drop the money for them. Like,
so just limit to yourself for
I think
10 seconds or something. Even maybe have some sort of countdown on there. But I don't know.
It's not even necessary.
It's weird.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to think of like design-wise, like how you fix that, how you stop it, so that if you do limit it to one person, you're also not enabling trolls to jump in and just fuck with you, steal your stuff, and
yeah. I don't think it'd be that as big a problem as it might initially seem. I think it'd be pretty easy to handle. So yeah, single use. They added more guns.
Yeah, a couple more guns.
I think the guns they added are a mistake. All they do is dilute the loot pool with bad weapons and force the loadout meta further.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? When you're adding new weapons to the game, which people aren't using anyway, up until the first 5 minutes of the game, like when you're actually trying to find a gun, then it kind of becomes like I don't know, it's just no point in it at all. There's no reason to be adding weapons when the meta is not around the weapons. Like, if they were adding new items or gadgets or something like that, that's different because people are using them. Like, you come across them, you pick them up, you sort of move them around. But the weapons are pretty much like there's no point to them at this stage of the game. Like, nobody's using them. I don't know why they're doing that.
So and they're shit weapons. I'm tired of landing and finding a lever action fucking DMR and a double barrel shotgun as my two first weapons. The amount I've stopped going. I used to go to Boneyard all the time because I love the fight there. But the amount of times I've landed a Boneyard on a fucking double barrel shotgun and nothing else now, it's like, what the fuck am I playing? Am I playing PUBG now? Some shit, right? Like, is this my new life? And then I run into 6 cunts with fucking, like they've already got blue SMGs or some shit.
Orange SMGs.
See how this goes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, they're obviously
it's literally punishing hot drops because like it's disincentivizing hot drops because then suddenly, right, it places a heavy emphasis on your immediate loot, right? And then if you win your hot drop, right, you're well sorted to go purchase a loadout, and then you spend the rest of the game with the perfect guns. So it heavily de-emphasizes loot, except for literally your initial drop, like the first 30 seconds. At which point, like, whatever you get is the most important thing in the entire game, right? And it's fucking dumb.
Right.
They made, like, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, so the new weapons they've added in are the 7.25 shotgun, a MK2 carbine, which is a marksman rifle, another marksman rifle, which is the EBR, and then a handgun, 50 GS. I don't know what that is, but yeah,
That's the Desert Eagle.
Oh, is that what that is? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're kind of adding these new guns in. At least they're trying to do some stuff with making these loadouts more expensive. But again, it's not. It needs to be a lot more expensive, or limit the amount of people that can use them. So that, again, that drives the number up of how expensive these things are.
Yeah.
Because at this stage, there's not really any point to use a weapon that's on the ground when you can bring your own weapon in, and it costs pretty much, not a lot at all. Anyway.
Yeah.
But I guess they're trying stuff. They're looking at numbers, and I'm sure they'll keep increasing it or doing something. I don't think they're at the point where they can get rid of it. They can't at this stage. It seems like too many people are attached to that sort of stuff. But they need to make it harder to acquire, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Because as I explained at length in the IGN article, the loot portion of the game is actually very fucking important to how battle royales work.
Yeah.
And all the people who keep yapping on about how, but I hate in battle royales when everyone just fucking camps. People just fucking camp in Warzone. People just fucking camp in Warzone, motherfucker. Holy shit. That's 90% of what people are doing in Warzone. You are heavily disincentivized to take fights in Warzone, because if you can't guarantee that you're going to get more armor, you're walking into the fucking final circle with no armor. Yeah. Like, it's not like Apex where you can just kill someone and steal their armor off them. Like, yeah.
And the whole reason of having these missions in the game is to get more money, right? And so if they want to force people to not camp anymore, move around, complete those missions, that means they're getting money. They're working towards getting that loadout drop, and they're moving around a lot more. I think that ends up moving probably the pace of the game up, because you eliminate at least a decent chunk of people that are camping, or at least staying still, which means you're having more fights, more encounters. You can then increase the time, I guess, on the circles when they decrease, and like it just automatically speeds the game up. Like you can probably knock a couple of minutes off a game, 3 minutes or something, depending on how quickly you can get gear and players out of the circle. But at the same time, we know they're talking about upping the player count to 200 at some stage. And if that ends up happening, then it's possible they don't need to touch the circle timings or, the other things that are sort of affected around that particular gameplay mechanic. Because, again, there'll just be more people, so you're going to be in more fights anyway.
Yeah.
And then again, that's another weird thing that'll end up affecting sort of the economy, like how that works. If you're running into more people, you're acquiring maybe money even quicker, like how that'll shape the actual buying of loadouts and buying of equipment could drastically change.
It's all a big, like, there is a giant fucking balancing act at play here that they need to fucking like be careful around, obviously, because it's not as simple as just changing a number. But yeah, that said, they should start by changing the number and then balance from there, not fucking try to find a balance like the other way around, because it's just not working the way it is. I'm still having fun with the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty clear how a game of, like, there is a very obvious fucking path for you to play out in Warzone now. You land on a fucking mission, you do the mission, you find a second mission, you buy a loadout. That's it.
And then you go bounty missions.
Yeah, and then you go bounty missions to either scare people away or to get some fucking easy money for self-revives, UAVs. I had a game yesterday with Liam, LJM. First of all, he got hit by a truck while standing in like a house. The truck basically like must have clipped through the door and hit him, and it knocked him down. So that was 6 thumbs up. They need to delete vehicles from Warzone. Okay, Warzone, like, vehicles in Warzone are a bigger problem than fucking loadout drops, because it's like, at least loadout drops work as intended, right? I don't agree with the intention, but at least they work as intended. Trucks in Warzone are fucking idiotic. I cannot count
a massive nerf for their health pool or something.
The health pool, like, you have to literally be standing on the fucking bonnet and shooting through the windshield to actually hit someone. You can't shoot the door. The window on the door is like the window on the door frame of the truck is all truck health pool. You can't shoot through the side window to kill someone.
Bullet pen.
Yeah, there's no bullet pen on that. That's pure truck health.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking idiotic. But also, it's got a hitbox. It's about 16 times like bigger than it is up and down. So if it goes over a fucking thing and you're lying on the ground, it'll just take you with it, even though it cleared you. Like, that's an opportunity for an epic fucking moment that they are goofing up, because their fucking vehicles are the shittiest things since fucking like Infinite Warfare. Like, good lord, vehicles are fucked. They drive me bananas. But anyway, so he got fucking hit by a truck that literally could not have hit him, and that's how we lost that game. Because we were in a house. We had like a rando with us, Fazza, who was like pretty helpful. He was chatting, all good. And then this truck came in, hit Liam. I came down to protect him because the truck driver jumped out. I think Liam hit it with a rocket. I hit it with a underbarrel grenade. Didn't matter. It wasn't even fucking smoking. This truck was fine. They got in the truck and drove away in it after they'd finished. Anyway, the dude jumps out and he downs me because I didn't have any armor. So he insta-downed me and then finishes Liam off and then runs back out. And he's sort of like running around. But I had a fucking self-revive. So I just like, I didn't even fucking move because I wanted him to think I was a dead body. I just fucking hit self-revive and started self-reviving right on the spot. Get back up, right? And then I fucking finished him off. Then I finished him off by meleeing him to death. Then I'm like on the fucking chat. I'm like, you dumb bitch. Anyway, his two mates like spring through the fucking windows after that. And they ripped me up. But the reason I brought up that game, apart from the truck thing, which is fucked, I bought and used 6 UAVs that game.
Yeah.
6. I bought one loadout. I bought Fazza back in, 6 UAVs, bought myself a self-revive. Oh, I found out something about the self-revive. If you use it, it'll get you up to like 9. You just keep using it, and then your teammate comes over and starts to revive you. They will finish the revive wherever you were up to, and you get to keep the self-revive. So I got to like 95% on a self-revive. We got fucking rocketed out of our fucking car. And I got to 95% on the self-revive, and Liam turned around and like finished it off. And I still had the self-revive after that, which is fucking... That's
right,
pretty
so
cool.
You just cancel it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's like a fair chunk of time between the cancel and the actual like loss of progress.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. But anyway, so yeah, there was that. I'd spent so much fucking money. We just earned shit tons. I think
Yeah.
I died with 10k still left because my plan was to kill this dude, and there was a buy station real close to us that I was going to go buy Fazza and Liam back in. That was my fucking game plan. If I hadn't been fucking ripped up, I had no armor left, and I was pretty low on fucking ammo. But like I figured, if I could just get to this thing, but his two mates were in on me, like fucking immediately. Yeah. Anyway, it was an annoying way to lose, but yeah, like eye-opening as a game because I'd fuck tons of money, dying to trucks that shouldn't be able to hit you, the self-revive thing, real learning experience. 6 year, like they need to up the price of UAVs as well, I think.
I mean, we normally run around as a crew with like 4 UAVs because we'll buy one, pop it, and then each get one, or like 2 of us will get one, the other one will get like a cluster strike or airstrike or whatever. But generally, like that's nearly two minutes of UAV time, and then you use them to be aggressive, right? You go find another team, and then you steal their money, and then you go buy another set of UAVs. Like, the economy needs a massive, a big fix.
Yeah.
But speaking of cars, we were playing the other night, and you were out of the game, and we're getting pretty close to finishing off this round. Like, it was constant gunfire throughout the entire match. We were just getting in all sorts of fights. So we didn't have anything left, like no money to get you back in, no gear, and Nate and I were sort of split up a little bit, and I seen another team, and so I jumped into a car and went straight for these 2 guys and just ran them straight over, grabbed their money, jumped back in the car.
So fucking gangster.
And then went and revived you. Like, this circle is so small.
Yeah. They would have been fucking pissed. Because I would have been fucking pissed. It was like, it was a pro fucking move. And I don't know what they were doing standing where they were, but holy shit. You'd be so upset to go out like that. It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in saying that, vehicles need a bit of a nerf to sort of combat them.
They need a rework, man. Trucks in particular just straight up need a rework. They're so cooked the way they are.
Yeah, they take so much health. Anyway, still enjoying it. I don't know if there'll be a patch this week, because that last one went up pretty late. They had delays. Obviously, all their staff are working from home right now, so patchwork is a bit rough. But they might do. They usually do some sort of update every Tuesday. And
it did like a playlist update, so I don't know if it's going to be an actual update.
No.
If they manage to roll that out.
Yeah. Anyway, still having fun with that.
Go jump on my YouTube channel if you want to have a look at me and Nate. I only found this out later on, but it appears there is a skill-based matchmaking system in place in Call of Duty. Because me and Nate, we had a couple of rough games, I guess, and then we got put into a game with a level 1 just downloaded Warzone PlayStation player.
I believe there's skill based in normal multiplayer, but not.
There's definitely skill-based matchmaking in normal multiplayer.
Yeah.
I'm starting to very strongly believe that there is skill-based in Warzone as well, because I've noticed like even like me and Liam were doing hot drops yesterday, and like we were like proper hot drops, immediate jump type shit, go straight for a thing, and we'd win a fight or two, but there'd be so many fucking squads on top of us that it just wasn't happening. A couple of times, like having a fight my way out of shit with fucking double barrel, that kind of stuff. So we get knocked out pretty early, and then that game where we got hit by a truck, or Liam got hit by a truck while inside a house. we were playing against the most potato cunts I've ever seen in my life. Like, just abysmal play. I don't even know what they were doing, and there's a strong chance that they just hadn't played before, and we did skill-based matchmade because the way skill-based matchmaking works, as far like people have done like tests in regular multiplayer, is after 5 games, your matchmaking bracket will severely tank. If you have 5 deliberately bad games where you just run around and get like munched, your matchmaking will tank, and you'll wind up in a much lower bracket against. And that's why a lot of the fucking like YouTuber like kill streaks and nukes you see are against these players who are just absolutely awful. Like, you don't, they're like fucking looking in the sky and turning around type shit. You're like, what are they doing? And it turns out
it's
that the YouTuber is like, the YouTuber is like fucking specifically smurfed themselves so they could like take on, newbies.
First nuke in Call of Duty.
Yeah, exactly, that sort of thing. And it happens more than you might think. So I'm thinking it might very, very possibly be a thing in Warzone as well. I'm about 90% sure it's happening in Warzone now. And I don't think it should, but nevertheless, jump on I think if you go to youtube.com/JobyJojo. Let's have a squiz. Yeah. You can see my video saving private dealer desk. It's just shy of 10 minutes long. And it is me and Nate dragging this dude who's never played Warzone before all the way to a chicken dinner, and it is revolting.
It's called a victory, a winner victory, I believe.
My bad. The chopper ride.
Yeah.
All the way to the chopper
helicopter ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Anyway.
All right. I got a lot of games on this list. There's heaps.
And I forgot one, so I got to add it.
Going on there. Anyway, I'll kick off. I've been playing an old game, Batman Arkham Knight, on the PC. So this came out in 2015, and if you recall, I think I reviewed it on PC back in the day, and at that stage, the port was a piece of shit, basically. It was terrible.
Yeah.
A lot of technical issues. Game didn't run very well at all, and my experience with the game was pretty heavily assaulted, I guess is the word, because that game reviewed pretty well on a lot of, I guess on the console platforms, but on PC it struggled. And this is I had a decent PC back then. I would have been running a 980. I remember Nate also had a pretty great PC, and he was having the same problems because we were playing it before the game was released, and we were both having really bad issues with it that I recall. So like I came out of that particular session pretty like not happy with my experience. Like you kind of, it's hard to judge how good a game is when you've got all these technical issues, because it sort of impacts it really deeply. And I've been looking for a game to jump into the last couple of days, been a bit bored trying to find stuff. There's not really a lot out, and I thought I was up for an action game, so I fired that up. And I spent a bunch of time playing that game. I'm like 25% completion in it so far. And I'm having a lot of fun. It runs really well now. There's a couple of hitching sort of going on every once in a while, but I wish it ran a little bit better. I'm getting about 90. I think it caps out at 90 frames, the actual game. So you can't really go higher than that. But
wait, it cap like specifically caps like why would it cap at 90?
I don't know. There's a cap for 60, and then the highest it can go is 90.
That is fucking weird.
So I've jacked it up to like 1440p. So it does drop below that every once in a while. But for them, and I've got like all the NVIDIA. I'm pushing a bunch of like physics, I think it was called tech, like smoke, physics and rain and different types of lighting stuff. I can't remember what they all were, but they were pushing a bunch of that stuff on there. And so I fired up, or basically everything's on maxed apart from the resolution. I'm not running at 4K. So yeah, it looks really nice. That game still, to this day, it looks good. It's not that old. It's a 5-year-old game. It's not,
Yeah.
it's this generation, so it doesn't look ugly. And it still plays really well. So my experience with it has definitely changed a lot because I'm now playing a version of it that works a lot better. There's still a couple of issues that I have with it. Obviously, the Batmobile stuff is still very central.
Yeah.
I can understand they wanted to change things up, but you do spend a lot of time in that car. They do try and do a lot of puzzles around the actual Batmobile, if you recall, and that stuff is really cool and interesting because you're kind of getting in and out of the car and doing, trying to solve things as Batman, but then also in the car as well. So that stuff is really cool. But then you've got a lot of it, like the side missions are really tied to it. You've got to go defuse the bomb, or you've got to go fight Firefly. Firefly, I think his name? Yeah. And that stuff is like in the car. You got to do these APC missions, and that stuff is in the car. The Riddler stuff, a lot of the Riddler missions, there's like these race courses that he's got around the city. They're really well done, but again, like that is all in the car. So like half of the game is driving around in this car, and I want to be flying around as Batman, and I'm not really getting a lot of that. So
yeah,
I think they sort of misstepped a bunch of that stuff. The combat is it's still a fun combat system, but it is still starting to feel a little bit dated. Particularly like the one thing I don't like that it does is these giant leaps with the animations of you're fighting a guy and you'll hit the directional button and hit the next attack and it'll jump to a guy like 2 screens away, and you hit him. Like it just looks really unrealistic when he's doing all this. He's supposed to be this giant brooding force that's slow. He's agile, but he's not like Spider-Man or anything like that. Like he's supposed to be this giant brooding force, and he goes and like hits people like a truck, but then all of a sudden he just instantly like teleports across the screen and just like bashes someone. That sort of brings me out of the reality of the game. What I'd like to see them do, like that works well in Spider-Man, right? Because he's got these gadgets that he can use, like his web zip to zip to somebody. It makes sense as a character, whereas Batman's not like that. So what I'd like to see them do is, and they're obviously working on a new game, we don't know what it is, but there's one that's bound to drop really soon. I want to see more gadgets being incorporated, right, in the fighting system. I think Spider-Man did such a good job with not even forcing you, just like giving you different options to use when you go into these fights, and different enemies it kind of throws at you and being like, all right, use these gadgets to combat these types of enemies. Whereas Batman doesn't really do a lot of that. It's kind of different attacks that the enemies are throwing at you, and like having to sort of deal with them, being like, oh, this is it. I gotta press the counter button here, or I've got to press the stun button here. They do like a lot of those sort of attacks on you, but you're not really switching between gadgets much to try and deal with enemies. And I think that's one way that they could really ramp up the combat, like make it more interesting. Because for the most part, you kind of just button mashing. You're trying to build up that combo meter by pressing the X button a bunch. You can obviously switch between, like your Batarang mid-fight and all that sort of thing, but there's no real reason to do it. So yeah, and like he could use his grapple, his bat grapple, I think it's called, to get across to the other side of the screen, right? He could turn around and like, I don't know, grapple the dude and bring them to him, and that's a way to solve that sort of those sort of encounters where a person is out of reach, but you still want to kind of hit them or do something with them. So I think they could really tighten up the combat a little bit. I just feel like over the years we've seen, obviously Batman is the model that we've gone after for so long because it did such a great job. But I think that there's other games out there that have sort of exceeded that, whether it's your Spider-Man or your God of War or your Dark Souls or like trying to incorporate different fighting styles, like bring it up to date. So I'm really excited to sort of see what they do with their next game and like what they learned coming out of that one, and then what everyone else is doing. Especially if they look towards.
I'm imagining a Batman in the Dark Souls combat style now, and I think it'd be pretty fucking interesting.
I don't know if they can do that though, just because of like where this series has gone.
It'd have to be completely separate. It'd have to be like a spin-off. It'd have to be its own thing. Like either you could do like full blown just like a different character, do like Red Hood or something. Someone who's known for his brutal fucking combat style. Or completely separate. Because theoretically Warner Bros. Are doing fucking 15 fucking Batman games, right? Warner Bros. Montreal's got one coming, and fucking Rocksteady's doing one, and fucking who fuck knows? It'd have to be separate from the Arkham series, but at the same time, it'd be pretty fucking like having fucking. I think my initial run would have him wake up in the pit of souls, Ra's al Ghul's sort of pit. Come back from the dead, and have that sort of be the mechanic. Have like instead of bonfires, have him find a channel to the pit of souls where he can respawn every time, and have it be that real brutal style of combat that he does in that Christian Bale did in the Dark Knight series, and have him fight fuck all people, but have it like big on story and have those huge encounters. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty interesting. Have it really focus on Batman as a combat artist, and like you'd have to have puzzles. You'd have to have some fucking killer puzzles. That'd be pretty cool.
I still feel like this game's got some really cool puzzles in there. But I don't think they can do such a big swing to the Dark Souls combat just because of how arcadey the Batman Arkham series sort of combat is. So, but yeah, I would like to see them sort of incorporate his gadgets a lot more into the, into the fights against specific enemies. Have them be, the scissor paper rock type stuff where, all right, this thing's coming after you. What do I use? What's the best way to deal with them? As opposed to right now, it's pretty much just, punch, punch, punch. Oh, there's two guys that are about to, I better counter twice. And then this guy's using his red attack, which means he's charging at me. So I've got to jump over the top of him. Like, they do a lot of that, but there's not really much. Like, I got to throw my batarang at this thing. At least not yet, but I don't recall it ever getting to that stage. So, yeah, I'm still keen to see what they've sort of learned. Two other things which has really stuck out to me, and I'm pretty sure I complained about this last time, which is the detective mode. I think that it's way too... you rely on it way too much in the game.
Yeah, right.
Like switching between that X-ray vision mode where everything goes to sort of blue and you've got the orange outlines of all the characters that are around, and you see the skeletal system, and then the orange bits that you can sort of interact with, like the vents on the walls or the grates that you can sort of climb into underground, or the walls that you can break through to grab people. Like, you're in that mode way too much, I feel like, and it sort of detracts from the environment that's around you. Like, you can't really see anything, and you just spend so much time in this mode. They do throw enemies at you later on that are like, oh, if you use this, then they'll know you're using it. They're like detecting your signal, and if you use it too much, then they'll come after you and can find you. But yeah, I think it'd be more interesting if they had some sort of outline system, like a Far Cry or something, where you can kind of, you get into your arena, right? And then you can start marking objects like, oh, there's a grate there, and it sort of changes the color of it, or mark all the people, and all of a sudden you can sort of, it highlights them, right? And so you can still see the world as it is, but it's sort of highlighting these objects for you to interact with, like sort of scouting out your area, your approach attack, as opposed to just hitting the directional detective mode and just seeing everything in blue and orange and being like, all right, where do I go now? And just staying in that mode the entire time. It's just, I don't think it's a really good way to keep going with that series, at least. I think there's a better way of doing that. The other thing I'm not a fan of, and this is just particularly, it's nothing gameplay wise, but Arkham Knight, the actual title character, is a villain in this game. his voice. They use like a voice modulator where they're trying to hide the person's voice or who it is. It just doesn't fit this world. Like, it sounds like they've gone down to like the $2 shop and bought one. Or
really?
He sounds like he should be a character in the Borderlands franchise. Like, his voice does not match. I think of what they did with Batman in the sort of the Zack Snyder universe, where they gave him this awesome voice, right? And you think about it, because the idea there is to try and hide that he's Bruce Wayne, right? And so it would have been really cool if they gave him a badass voice in the Arkham Knight, a badass voice, as opposed to him just sounding like this really weird, whiny character. It's like, it just doesn't fit. Like, I wanted to be sort of menacing, and that's not the vibe I'm getting from that character at all. So, anyway, just a bit of a nitpick. But otherwise, yeah, I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm having fun with it. I feel like I'm gonna keep going through. I'm definitely liking it more than the last time I played it. And the world is awesome. They did such a good job on making buildings unique, right? Like, you look at a building, it's got so much detail and character about it. They got these bright neon signs, and it's sort of like every building is attributed to some sort of lore in the Batman universe. Like, you see a billboard and it'll have like Vicky Vale's nightly show or something like that. And you go past areas, and like, I immediately remember going past a building and being like, oh yeah, that's where like Poison Ivy is, sort of thing. Like, you immediately just recognize it because it's so iconic in your brain from those last times you've played it. So yeah, I think they do a really good job of sort of giving the world, making it sort of its own character, as opposed to like a generic sort of bland thing. But it definitely feels small to me as well. It doesn't seem like a big game. You can sort of get from one end to the other as Batman pretty quickly. In the Batmobile, it's a bit harder because they lock off sections of Gotham via the bridges, and you can't really do much of that. But when you compare that to where we've seen like the Assassin's Creed series go, or even New York with Spider-Man, just like how massive those worlds are. I'm really interested to see like what they do with this next game. And is it gonna be Gotham again, or is it like New Gotham, or where do they go from here? Because they've gone from like Arkham Asylum to I think it was called Old Gotham, possibly. It was sort of like a sanctioned yeah. And then they've gone to sort of like Gotham now. And do you do that again, or do you go somewhere else? Maybe like, are they doing Batman, or is it like this? Is it a Justice League game, and maybe you're in Metropolis or something? I don't know.
Where else is that? Is what? Bloodhaven. What's the? Is it Central City? Is that What's his faces? What's Flash's?
I don't remember. I'm not really a Flash person.
And fucking Oliver's Green Arrow's place. What's that fucking
Green City?
I don't know.
I never watched any of that stuff.
I
did, but didn't get to invest into it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all I know, I don't know what the city's called, but all I know is everyone inside it has failed this city. Is he still on it? Is that show still going?
I think it is, because weren't they in the Crisis? Infinite Crisis?
I watched that one. Yeah, that's it. I thought it seemed like he. I don't want to spoil anything, but it seemed like he died and shit. So
maybe. Anyway, So Batman Arkham Knight, it's I'm having a lot more fun with it this time around, but it's got me craving for whatever they're working on next. It's got to be soon, right? They keep teasing this fucking game. Who knows?
Like, just fucking pull the trigger, dickheads. Nah, gotta tease it out for another fucking 3 years or some shit.
Yeah. Anyway, Batman Arkham Knight out now. There you go.
Nice.
You got any games you want to talk about, or should I keep going?
Let's go through my games for a bit, shall we? kick off with Exploding Kittens. Jumped on like I think we used Facebook Messenger with Nate and his girlfriend. Played some Exploding Kittens like with them on video chat.
Hmm.
That was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool way to to play that. Like it's a mobile game, so you can like get it on mobile. I think it's like $2 or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good price, and yeah, you can play with other people over the internet. And it does like a lot of the rule stuff for you.
Yeah.
So it's a very easy game to play. You buy expansion packs and stuff. Nate bought all the expansion packs, and because he bought them, we were all able to play them, even though we hadn't all bought the expansion.
Yeah, that's good. Good way of doing it.
Yeah, and it's just yeah, a good isolation style party game. Yeah, I had Facebook Messenger up on a tablet. Playing on, I was playing on my wife's phone. She was playing on my tablet, so she could like read the cards a bit easier. And yeah, it was just good fun. We're drinking and playing games, and we're gonna have a punt at Jackbox or something. I think that'd probably work as well, like murder trivia party or something. That'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a cool way to go about things. The only real problem I think was I think Katie had the volume on the game on.
Yeah.
Like a fucking pod person. Who has volume on there? I don't have volume on my phone at any point in time ever.
I took the button off.
Like, I think it's the only way to go about things, really. Like, good lord. So that
I don't even know what my ringtone is. It does. There's no ringtone as far as I know.
It goes. Zzz, zzz, zzz,
Yeah.
zzz.
And
That's
if
all
I'm
I
nearby, I
want.
pick it up.
Okay. Yeah, you're like, why? Why is someone calling me? Anyway, it was good. It was good wordplay, and yeah. So if you're, I don't know, if you're looking for a self-ISO game you can play with other people from across the way, check that one out. It's good.
Yeah. We've been playing Words with Friends too.
I had a look at. I don't think it was. Yeah, it was 2. And it's like ads for days and all this kind of shit.
It's got a lot of ads. Yeah. Basically, every time you have a move, there's an ad.
Right? That's fucking ugh. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck that shit. So that was a bummer. Anyway. What else we got here? I'm still playing Monster Train.
You're hooked. It's still going.
I love Monster Train. Holy shit, man. Like I've said it before. It's not as I don't think it's as good as Slay the Spire, but it's different.
Yeah.
And I like how it's different. And I find like I unlocked the last race finally. Because I'd been playing. I fucking worked this out way late. But I've been playing a specific, I think it was green-blue build that relied very heavily on just a cut, like maybe 3, sort of 4 big units, and then spells to keep them going. Which A, always gets fucked on the last boss, and B, or doesn't always, but like half the time gets fucked on the last boss because he eats your spells, turns all spells into consume, which is a huge crotch punch if you need spells. Actually, my latest run's gonna be fun. Oh my lord, that's gonna be rough. Anyway, so there's that, and then there is the problem that to unlock the last race, you needed to like summon 250 units or something, like 300 units or something. And because I was only doing fucking 4 units a turn, like a game or like a match, whatever, a level. I got there in the end because I was only doing 4. Yeah, it was taking me fucking forever, and I'm like, oh, I should just do like a unit heavy, just fucking like spam units type fucking build, so I can unlock these last guys. And if I'd unlocked the last guys already, it would be unbelievably easy to unlock the last guys with them, because they are very unit spammy. You chonk out fucking units. You just fucking hammer them out. Yeah. So anyway, I guess like I just use it as a bit of a time sink. Like I was playing it before this started, and it's good because I can quit halfway through a run and just like come back to it, and I've always got a pretty good idea of what I was doing last time. It's not that like easy to get lost.
Yeah,
I think because you've got such a broad, you've got to have a pretty broad strategy. Yeah, you don't wind up getting too lost. In Slay the Spire, if you come back later, you sort of like,
where was I?
I had a trick. There was a trick to this play
Yeah.
through, and I don't remember what that trick was. And then you like sit there for fucking 5 minutes looking through the cards, and like, I think it was this, and then you get in, and you've forgotten about one of your artifacts, and you're like, oh no, it was fuck, and you die. Anyway, it's a good game.
Yeah,
I really like it.
I'm teeing up an interview with those guys for podcast. So maybe we'll do something next week. If you've got time, maybe we can drag you on. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But we're trying to get a chat with those guys to talk on here about it. Yeah,
I like it. Yeah, cool. And that's about that. Speaking of games that you can't just leave halfway through, Risk of Rain 2. I've been playing Risk of Rain 2 again. I just sort of wanted a mindless shooter, I guess, that I could play on my own. And Risk of Rain 2 sort of fills that need until it really doesn't. It stops doing that at some point, like at one point through every fucking run. It is no longer a mindless shooter. It is the most stressful fucking experience known to man. Everything is way too intense, and you're like, right, yeah. The problem Risk of Rain 2 has primarily is that you can't quit halfway through a run and come back. And some of my runs go like for 2+ hours, and the way I handle it is I just alt tab away. I just like pause and alt tab away, and then I come back later.
Right.
But if I were to try to play anything else during that time, I would be fucked.
Why?
Because I assume I can't play Warzone and have Risk of Rain 2 running at the same time. My computer isn't that beefy.
You need some like Xbox. What are they calling it? This new technology where you can start stuff up. It sort of stores it in memory or something.
Yep, that's what I need.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good game. They made a bunch of changes. I've unlocked all but one of the characters now. I'm getting like well deep into how those characters work. I had a run the other day where not only did I unlock the second to last character that I hadn't yet unlocked, Acrid, which is extremely tricky to do. To unlock him, you've got to like go through a portal. So if you haven't played Risk of Rain 2, it's sort of a third-person shooter where you just kill a lot of enemies, and killing enemies gives you money, and money allows you to open chests, and chests gives you items, and items enhance your character. And Risk of Rain 2 is really about creating these like insane characters that are basically impossible to do anything about until you run into something where you couldn't possibly do anything about them. It's just this insane ramp of power. Like, it doesn't restrict the amount of items you can carry. You can carry as many items as you can fucking purchase, and so you wind up in a situation where you just like constantly increasing, and like it's not stingy like the items, you know, where other games might be like, oh, you can have as many items as you like. This does a 0.2% increase to your attack speed, and so you'd need like fucking 400 of the cunts just to see an appreciable difference. Risk of Rank 2 isn't like that. It's like, oh, yeah, if you pick up this hoof, you can move 10% faster. And now you've got 15 of them. And that's actually a problem. You probably shouldn't have gotten 15 of them, because now you move so fast that if you hit a bump, you sky off into the you like launch off into the sky, and when you land, you take 50% of your health in damage, and it's very difficult. Anytime you sprint now, it's very difficult for you to actually stop and kill anything because they're gone by the time you get to them. Like, you just fucking piss around all over the place, or you know, like your attack speed has increased so far that you are now less efficient than you were before, because you've reached a point where like your attack speed is as fast as the global cooldown. So your options are to either hammer the button as fast as humanly possible. Oh, there's like a fucking character whose attacks like cost you health, and I died as him because I was alternating. So if you press his R and B, right mouse button, he does like this long, basically infinite range fucking like attack. But it costs you 40% of your health, and it fucking wallops cunts, right? And if you do his LMB, he gets, I think it's 30% health back. So it costs you 40%, but you get 30% back. And so I was like, fucking, I could do those two attacks as fast as humanly possible. I had enough, like the cooldown on them was like this. I had fucking stacks of them. I had like there's like a magazine clip that allows you to have multiple your mouse 2 ability, and I had fucking 8 of those or something. Anyway, so by the time the 8th one would finish, like they were basically just constantly refreshing. I couldn't like spam them fast enough to get rid of them. And so I was just cycling between like LMB, RMB, LMB, RMB, LMB, and I missed like 2 LMBs in a row, and that killed me because I'd be like bang, 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 and because I missed the 2 LMBs, I didn't get the 30% health back I needed to stay alive. So I just fucking pancaked myself with 120% damage, and that's how I died. It was not a fantastic death, but it was like that's fucking rad. Like when you first start out as that character, you like walk slower than fucking Stephen Hawking, and like you can't fucking do anything. You're like, yeah, I'll shoot this, I'll do my R&B, and then that takes 5 seconds to cool down, and I might as well just spam with my L&B for a bit, and then eventually that one little thing dies, and then like, yeah, you get to the point where I was up to, and like everything is dying like the moment it spawns. And I'm not talking like little things, I'm talking like the monster that was a boss on the first level, there's now like 6 of the cunts, and you have deleted them from existence before they've even fucking managed to get anything off. It's like rad. I had this run where I managed to go through the portal, down this jumping puzzle to another portal, and you go through, and you're in this zone where the air itself takes damage. You got to stand in these small zones to actually like not die, and then you activate the zone, and enemies come, and the enemies have like the items that you have. They have access to items that you've got, and like they eventually get like proper high tier items, and you've just got to sort of fucking deal with them, and you got to kill them. You got to do, I think it's 9 waves of this, and every 3 waves they add another fucking enemy type, and they add like better fucking items, and like they just start to get really fucking scary. Like they're really capable of doing a lot of fucking damage. But if you get through the ninth one and you finish the ninth wave, you unlock the acrid guy, the second last guy, who his sprint. So when he sprints, it cancels his attack animation, and when he attacks, it cancels his sprint animation.
Mm.
And so you can animation cancel your way into just these infinite fucking swipes where you just like he never, like, you have to time it kind of well.
Yeah.
But like there's no like cooldown on the effect of it. So basically you can murder everything. He's again slow as fuck, but like he gets a little bit of momentum out of fucking swiping. So he actually moves faster while he's swiping. So you just like hold forward and tap the sprint button and hold down on mouse 1 and just like swipe everywhere, and you just like look for things to fucking swipe on. You just like swiping. Anyway, I unlocked him. So that was pretty good. And then I actually also got to go to the Gilded Coast and fight another monster, which I'd never done before. Very difficult to defeat, but I managed to do it. And when I killed him, I got this artifact that spawned him as a fucking helper monster, which was ridiculous. Because like he spawned in basically as good as he was in the boss fight. So it was me, the person who managed to beat him in the boss fight, and the boss just fucking walloping cunts. And it must have been, I think it was worth like fucking 6 stages just getting him. Like, it was a huge fucking game changer. I don't think I would have lasted as long as I did without him, because he attracted so much fucking attention. The only reason I died in that one was because I was this character that is widely considered to be the worst in the game. I can't remember what she's called, but her special ability is she can float, which isn't very good. Like, it's not as useful. Like, fucking, I don't know. I have never fucking run into a scenario where floating is my, oh yeah, if only I'd been able to float. Like, fuck off. But I found like she had some pretty good attacks, and like once you like, there's the thing about Risk of Rain 2 is, right, like even the bad characters can get crazy good once you stack enough of any particular fucking item on them. So I had like the item, I think it was the item where like when they die they explode, and the more of those you have, the bigger the radius of the explosion, I think. And so it's like, it didn't even matter at that point, right? I would like run around as her. I also had like, you know, shit tons of speed. So I was like running around and just dodging and like eating a bit of shit each time, but I just stay alive. And then I'd turn around and I'd shoot and kill one person. And the chain reaction explosion that would cause would kill everything. Then I'd be like, on to the next thing. And like my fucking frame rate would tank down to fucking 14 while all these explosion effects were happening. And I'm like,
yeah.
Well, I hope I don't die while the frame's dropping. But let's see how we go. And then, yeah, I'd come back. Actually, yeah, I think I did get saved by floating. Because I got skied. I got like flung off into the sky at one point.
Right.
And it was as the explosions were happening. And so I just held on the space bar so that she could float. And when the frame rate like returned to normalcy, like I was about fucking 10 meters off the ground floating, and I definitely would have fucking cratered. Like I would have fucking pancaked for sure. So I think I got saved.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. Thanks, floating. You're not the worst after all.
Right.
Anyway.
Is Risk of Rain 2 still in early access?
Yes.
Yeah. So...
They just did a like a big update the other day, but I haven't checked it out yet. Early access artifacts. Yeah, March 31.
Yeah.
So probably April, like yesterday fast. I haven't played it since then.
Yesterday.
Though, so.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
All right.
And what else we got? Paperfire Rookie. Paperfire Rookie is a Australian-made VR game where you play a rookie firefighter, and pardon me, it's pretty goofy. It's extremely Australian. Like you got this guy who, in his extremely Australian voice, he's like, "G'day, rookie. You're a new firefighter, and we're going to take you out and get you to fight some fires." And you live in this place called Paper Town. And they've never had a fire before, and it's all
Seems
sort of
like
just
a disaster
theoretical,
waiting to happen.
basically. And yeah, you go in and you fight fires. It's very entertaining. I think my biggest problem with it is that I don't understand the tone it's going for, because like I guess graphically, like from an art perspective, it's very kiddie, right? Like it's very childish, I guess. Like
Sure.
it seems like it's aimed at a younger audience. But I got the feeling that the game itself isn't, I guess, right? Like it feels like, yeah, maybe it's for kids, and yet I don't know how well a lot of the humor would go over with kids, you know? I don't think he swears, but I think he might have said something that I was like, I don't think you're supposed to say that in a children's game. That's my biggest problem with it. That and it seemed like it didn't have like a push button turn. It had like I don't know how you describe, like manual turning. You had to turn your actual body to turn. But that might be something I can fix in the settings. It's super entertaining. Yeah, like just a fucking amusing, like humorous shooter game, because you, like, when you're fighting the fires, it's not like you get a hose or something. You've got a fucking water gun, and you just fucking shoot the fires. And it basically takes you through these levels, and it's got like this big, like, not big, this open world. It's got this open world area, and you can go use that. It's sort of like a hub world that you use to go from like level to level. You get to the next level, and you find your next location so that you can fight the next fire and stuff like that. And yeah, like, you know, it's pretty amusing. I like vary wildly between appreciating the voice acting and hating it. Like but that's just like classic Australian cultural cringe. Like you're like, oh no, oh, Australian accents, no, and you're like, ah, that is classic Yobo shit.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's pretty entertaining. I had a pretty good time with it. Like if I could fix it so that I could turn independently on a button, it would basically be ideal. Yeah, I'm sort of going through and trying to put together like a list of games people should play once they've finished Half-Life Alyx, because you know you're about to whenever the postal service works its shit out, you'll have a VR. You'll have the capacity.
2021. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Once that happens, yeah, you'll be able to play some VR. But yeah, I assume you won't want to stop at playing Half-Life Alyx. I assume people don't want to spend $1,000 for a single game. Generally, when you buy a new platform, you want to play a couple of different games. And yeah, figured I'd have a squiz. And yeah, this it's Aussie made, which is cool. And yeah, it's very Australian.
Is
and
it
it's
free
quite
or is
entertaining.
it?
No, I think it's $12 Australian
Right. Okay.
on Steam. Yeah. any list I make is going to be notoriously absent of any Oculus only games because I don't have an Oculus. I
Right.
can't be fucking getting Revive to work. So, yeah. Anyway, it's worth checking out if you get a VR machine. Yeah, like, and you're looking for a VR game to play.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go. I'll go next
Do it.
because you've got more after this. I've been playing Borderlands 3 again. The DLC. A new batch of DLC dropped recently, but I hadn't played the old lot either. The codes that we got, the review codes, didn't have what was it called, like a season pass attached to it. But I have had a chance to get one of those recently, and so I jumped back into the first lot of DLC that was released a little while back called Moxie's Heist of the Handsome Jackpot. And this one in particular revolves around Handsome Jack, so the villain of Borderlands 2, possibly the best villain out of the three sort of main games, like not including the DLC, but it's about his sort of like space casino that has gone into sort of like this lockdown after he has died, and people that have been left stranded on there have sort of gone a bit stir crazy. And Moxie has this plan to go there and steal all of the loots that has been left there. And so you put together like a crack team of bandits or vault hunters on this casino, and you've got to try and get all the loot. The second lot of DLC that just came out last week is called Guns, Love, and Tentacles. And I think it's got like a subtitle to it, The Marriage of Wainwright and Hammerlock. And this one is about two characters, Hammerlock and Wainwright, are having a wedding. They're getting married, and they go to this like frozen planet where they're going to have their ceremony, and you're invited as the Vault Hunter. And they're inviting a bunch of other guests to this place. And you get there, and things don't seem as they should be, as according to the brochure they've been sold on. You get there, and there's this like weird cult that is on the planet, and they're sort of like worshipping this giant frozen monster thing that is overlooking the place. And things just don't go to plan for this wedding, and you're tasked with trying to solve those issues that fall apart. I haven't managed to finish the new one as of yet. I'm going to hold off at this point because I've reached the level cap, and I've pretty much reached the gear score cap as well. So with the game, once you get to the max level and you finish the game, you start earning new gear, and each item has a gear score attached to it, and that kind of increases as you get more and more gear. But there is a cutoff point, and that will be fixed in the new Mayhem 2.0 system that's coming out pretty soon. And what they're going to be doing in that one is your gear will be attached to your Mayhem level, and so the higher up in Mayhem that you go, the better weapons that you get. So that means that currently I'm playing in Mayhem 3, and I think there's 4 Mayhem levels. So the higher up I go in the levels, sort of like the way that Diablo works, the harder the game will get, but I'll be getting better loot as well. So I'm gonna stick around and wait for that to drop, and then I'll jump in and finish Guns, Love, and Tentacles, because otherwise I'm just not getting any more gear, and I kind of want to see how that goes as I start progressing it, making it a bit harder. Because I'm surviving Mayhem 3 at this stage. I'm not really having much trouble. But at the same time, if I increase it, I don't want to make the game harder, and I'm not really getting rewarded out of it. Like, I've kind of hit the spot where I'm not getting any more gear that... I'm getting gear, but it's nothing that is really better. Unless I go hunting for stuff like, what's the best build? And I'm not really interested in doing that sort of route. In Borderlands, that was definitely something I did in Diablo. Like, what's the best hunter gear in Borderlands? In Diablo, and I'll go and find like the specific crossbow that I needed and a certain set of items. But here I'm just like, I'm cool with getting whatever I want. So once that Mayhem 2.0 drops, I'll jump back in and then finish that particular lot of DLC. But what I will say is that something I complained about last week when I was talking about Control, the Foundation, the new DLC for that, was that it felt very samey in terms of the environments. Like, it felt like I had been here before, or it wasn't really showing me anything new in terms of its aesthetic. Like, the way the game looked, it was kind of like, oh, okay, I'm in another, like, office area in this weird building, and I've seen, like, all these art assets before type stuff. Whereas immediately in, like, Moxie's heist, it's like you haven't seen that before in the Borderlands 3 that you've been through before. Like, it all looks brand new. It's this giant casino, bright colors. There's there's really interesting places, water fountains, and all this stuff going on. And then you jump into, like, Guns, Love, and Tentacles, and then again, that's like a completely different area that you haven't really been to before. Like, it looks different from the other stuff that you've seen. I was a bit worried about the initial sort of area in Guns, Love, and Tentacles, because it's a frozen planet, and the beginning of Borderlands 2, I think you're on a frozen planet. It was frozen. Yeah, Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
And I was worried about that being very similar. Like, oh, we're back on here again, like somewhere we've seen before. But you immediately kind of get into the town, and it's got this like HP Lovecraftian sort of feel to it. And then you start getting into these weird buildings, and they like old libraries and purples, like lots of purples and blues, and like there's a very specific color palette to this particular game that I don't think is in this particular DLC that I don't think we've seen in the other areas we visited on the other worlds. So I appreciate that they've gone sort of out of their way to make things look different. And then on top of that, you've got like new enemies that you encounter. Like, they don't look like stuff you've fought before. Whereas the Foundation, the Control DLC, it was like, here's a new enemy type, and it's kind of like one. So I think they've done an excellent job in the Borderlands 3 expansions to sort of give you stuff that's new. Like, people, if you like Borderlands 3, it's more Borderlands. It's kind of like Borderlands 3 and Borderlands 2. Like, if you like Borderlands 2, you're going to like Borderlands 3 because it's more Borderlands. And that's sort of what they've done with the DLC, right? There's awesome characters that you meet along the way, characters that you haven't seen in a while. Some fan favorites come back, and so that sort of stuff is really good. So they're sort of introducing people that you hadn't seen in the actual Borderlands 3 main campaign, and then bringing them into these DLC storylines and having them sort of play a bit more of a main role, which is really cool. I had a lot of fun with it, man. Like, I basically sat there for hours and hours playing through Borderlands, and the only reason I stopped was not because I'm not having any fun anymore, but because I want to wait for this next update to drop, and so I can jump in and get even more cool gear. So the actual guns that I'm using at the moment, I've got an assault rifle that sets people on fire. That's like my primary gun in number 1 slot, and the longer I hold down the fire button, the more the fire rate gets quicker. So I've got like a perk that does that, but with this particular gun, every time that I crit somebody, it adds 2 ammo to my chamber, and it's got about 95 bullets per clip anyway, and so I can sit there and just crit people for days, because every time I crit somebody, it adds another 2 bullets in the chamber. And so sometimes I'm sitting there with a full chamber, just holding down the button, just destroying. And then on top of that, it also ricochets 2 bullets off to another enemy. And so the entire screen is just like filled with orange, with like bullets bouncing everywhere, crit damage numbers flying off, and I'm not having to reload. I'm just like spraying everybody down. So I'm a big fan of that gun. My secondary gun is like an SMG that does... it's really good against armor, so it sort of melts people's armor. And so I switch between that like I'll melt their armor away, and then I'll switch to the fire weapon, and then I'll use that to sort of finish them off. It does a really good job of like throwing a different mix of enemy types at you, so you've got to have the right gun on there to sort of do the most amount of damage. The guys with the shields will come out, and so you've got to switch to the electricity guns to sort of deal a lot of damage to their shields. And so that's my third gun. I've got it does electricity damage, and it doesn't have a magazine on it. It's one of those ones where it has a cooldown, and once it hits a certain limit, it overheats, and you got to let it cool down again. So they're like my 3 guns that are in rotation. And then I've got a grenade. I really like the grenade I've got. It basically bounces 3 times, and each time it bounces, it creates like a clone of itself, but it sits in the one spot, and it spins around and shoots bullets everywhere. And so it does that 3 times. And I'll get into an arena, and I'll just like ping. I've got like 10 grenades or something like that. I'll just ping like 6 of them just in the room. And the room is like 20 grenades in the room, just spinning around, shooting bullets. And I'll just stand back. My pet is in the middle of the room doing what it does, which is just tank. And I'll sit back and just destroy everybody. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's really cool. It did what Borderlands 3 was supposed to do, which was add a bunch of quality of life changes to it. I don't think it did a lot more other than that. Like, I wish it would have, my idea of what a Borderlands 3 was, or could have been, wasn't what it was. Like, it didn't take that idea of where MMOs have gone, or sort of like what even Diablo was doing with its adventure mode and that sort of stuff. It kind of just did more Borderlands 3, and that was it. There weren't any big raids or stuff that you're sort of seeing out of games of a service. What Destiny or The Division is doing, that sort of stuff. So that's kind of my most disappointing thing about Borderlands 3. But at the end of the day, it's doing what it does well, and I still have fun with it.
Yeah, I saw you playing on Discord, and I was pretty interested about that, but I didn't want to get back in because I guess I stopped playing Borderlands 3 when they nerfed all the guns. Because I very firmly believe that Borderlands is a game where you should buff everything else as opposed to nerf the stuff people really like.
Yeah.
I think we spoke about this at the time. Well, it sounds like they might be back to making really good guns again, like really awesome guns again.
I like the gun that I've got a lot.
Yeah.
To the point, that's why I've stopped playing, because I'm like, I feel like I've got the gun that I've got, and I'm just going to be nitpicking at that stage. Like, oh, do I want this specific type of gun to do this? Or I'm not really going to get better damage numbers. Because that's what I usually do. I look at the damage numbers and I'm like, oh, it's got better rate of fire, does more damage. I need a new fire gun, so I'll do that one. Whereas at this stage, it's like I've hit the gear score limit, and I'm just sort of picking what sort of build I want. I'm pretty happy with what I've got, so I'm not going to min-max and watch YouTube videos of what the best builds are. I'm just not interested in that sort of thing. So
yeah.
But I more mean like, it sounds like the guns are interesting, because you remember when we were playing back when it launched.
Yeah,
it was like we had those guns. I had whatever that shotgun was that I fucking loved to death, and then they nerfed the fuck out of it, and I'm like, all right, well, that was my favorite gun. You ruined it, so I'm not going to play anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds like they're adding more guns that are cool.
Yeah.
As opposed to ruining the ones that are, to make others seem more interesting.
Well, it does that thing where it surprises you as well. Where I had this is earlier on I was playing. I had my SMG that did, what's it called? It was like radiation damage, I think. And with that one in particular, I found a pistol that was really good, and then I switched to it, and I was like, yeah, it's fine. It's okay. And so I was running around using that, and then I accidentally pressed a lot of the guns have like an alternate fire mode on it. It'll switch it from like a burst fire, or it'll just do something. Sometimes it's just completely crazy, or it'll be like it shoots a different type of elemental effect at the enemy now. So I had this pistol, and I hit the fire button to change the fire rate, and it was initially set to burst fire, and this one went to full auto. and it was spraying like 30 bullets in about a second and a half, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, why was this the default thing? And so I switched to that. I was just ripping people up constantly with this thing. So yeah, there's a lot of cool little guns that you find, because I was always about just, I'm happy using the assault rifle and then having like an SMG and then like a sniper rifle in the background, or like a rocket launcher is my 4, and sort of the first 2 and 3 I kind of alternate between. Like, I don't really like shotguns that much. It's not really my thing in Borderlands, but yeah, every once in a while they surprise you with some of the guns, so I've enjoyed it. And I don't know the guns that I'm using, if they're specifically part of the DLC sort of updates, or if they've been in there all along. It'd be really cool to have like a, some sort of indicator on the weapons. Like, they've already got manufacturer names, right? But if it was a specific part of a DLC, whether you're like, where did I get this from? It would be cool. But,
I think you'd have to Google it all.
But yeah, I dug it. I'm digging it a lot. I'm definitely keen to jump back in very soon.
Cool. Nice.
Yep. What else we got? More of your stuff, I think.
More of my stuff? Yeah. Which one should we do first? Elder Scrolls Online Greymoor. So I've been playing the Greymoor on the Greymoor preview server. So Greymoor is the first chapter in what is being called the Dark Heart of Skyrim. The year of updates for Elder Scrolls Online are all dedicated to the Dark Heart of Skyrim. It's already sort of begun with the Harrowstorm DLC, which adds in a bunch of pretty light stuff, but some quests, some like preliminary quests, and a couple of dungeons to get players into Elder Scrolls Online. And then Greymoor is the first like chapter, which is like the bigger DLC. It's got like some new like mechanics and stuff. So it's got a new trial or raid, like a 12-person raid. Sort of a lengthy ongoing quest, like in a specific contained area. We couldn't play that because we didn't have enough fucking players in Australia. It was never going to work. We couldn't even beat a single trash mob when we went in as a 4-stack. But we were able to go through some other stuff and check out the rest of the world. And it's pretty fucking impressive, man. Like, they go well in on the like, it's Skyrim. It's Western Skyrim. They've already done a bit of Skyrim before. Like, it's always sort of existed, but they've gone way more into it now. Really opened it up. With Skyrim and Blackreach, which is underneath Skyrim. It's fucking huge. Like, there's a lot of space, which I guess is sort of characteristic of Elder Scrolls Online. One of the things that they do a lot of is go like big. They really expand the world of Tamriel, which is pretty cool. Like, I honestly think Elder Scrolls fans should be playing Elder Scrolls Online. There's like a lot that you can get out of this game. I mean, I understand it's set quite a bit before the events of Skyrim and Oblivion, but there's no planes. There's one plane. It's over my house. Anyway, I understand it's set quite a bit before, but there's still like the traditional like lore and story building and storytelling of the Elder Scrolls franchise exists within Elder Scrolls Online, and it's way bigger than any Elder Scrolls game has ever been before. Like, it's massive. It is giant. You can like travel for fucking ages. Like, it's an MMO obviously, but like, they don't restrict you. They don't tie you in with traditional MMO boundaries. Like, you can go, like, it's all level scaled and stuff like that, so you can sort of go wherever the fuck you want straight away. Obviously,
did you go to that mountain
dungeon
off
stuff
in the distance?
See that mountain? I didn't. But yeah, like, you can just sort of fucking roll around and do whatever. The previous server gave us access to a couple of different tiers of like character, like a maxed out character, a level 25 character, and we can play like the brand new character. And the brand new character starts off in a dungeon. They've got like a brand new starting phase for Greymoor. Like it's, if you were to start playing when Greymoor released, you would start in a different way than what you would start now. Because right now, if you were to start a new character, you would open up in Elsewhere, which has like a sort of I don't know, a North African sort of vibe to it, I guess. Where like everything you do in there is sort of, you're in a tomb and you're working your way out of that and whatnot, and then you open up into the world and there's fucking dragons everywhere and you can join in and fight a fucking dragon, whatever. That's not the case in Greymoor, where you'd start off in a dungeon in jail, which is a pretty traditional Skyrim opening, really, or Oblivion. Which one's Skyrim's on the fucking cart, Oblivion's in the jail with Patrick Stewart, and Morrowind is on a boat, right? A jail boat, but still a boat. Yeah. It's like, it's very traditional. Anyway, we mostly play with like max level characters, and like we rolled around as a group before me, two Bethesda handlers who are actually playing in our time zone, and Costa from Ozgamers, all just sort of belted about doing Elder Scrolls things. Came across a world boss in Blackreach, which is the under zone. There's like 2 separate zones for Greymoor, the upper area and the lower area, and they're fucking huge. It is ridiculous. Anyway, we found a world boss. World bosses are anyone can fucking join in and anyone can fight it, but because of time zones, we were, I think, the only 4 fucking people on the server at the time. So
right,
we did it ourselves. It took 15 minutes to kill this thing, and it was rough. It was like a proper fucking raid boss, like full-blown raid boss. And there's a very strong chance that, as someone who's pretty new to ESO, I hadn't set up my character as well as I could have. I wasn't the tank, but I think I was DPS, main DPS, and I was doing a lot of DPS. It's so surprising. Like I complained about this, I think the other time, last time I talked about ESO, how I didn't have a mini map and I didn't have all these like little quality of life things that I really fucking need in a MMO.
Yeah.
But I actually installed pretty much all of them, and a couple I didn't. I don't think I need. I probably shouldn't have. But you see it there, and you're like, well, why the fuck wouldn't I? Like
the wall hacks one.
I'll just there's one where you get fucking it just basically tells you where treasure is, because it's got like Red Dead Redemption style treasure maps.
Yeah.
In the game, where you've got like a fucking picture of a landmark and it's like, here's an X, and you're like, gotta go find that fucking X. But it's got like,
it's like a tree next to a cave, and you're like, all right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the old cave tree, eh? But this add-on is just like, it's here. Just fucking go here, cunt. And you don't even need the treasure map. Like, it's like in Kingdom Come Deliverance. Remember when I found that fucking treasure basically at the start of the game? And you could go there and get fucking fully geared up basically immediately. They nerfed that in like the second patch because of my video.
So you needed the map to actually go find them now.
I think so, yeah. But anyway, you don't need it in ESO. And you get this fucking add-on and everything fucking works. Add-ons don't work on a preview server though, do they? So all that shit was gone again. And I couldn't fucking tell what my threat was. I got no idea what my DPS is. I don't know if I'm being efficient with my fucking rotations. It's also a brand new character from a class I haven't been playing in regular ESO, so I don't know what my rotation is anyway. I just sort of put together some stuff. So I got no, I'm main DPS in the sense that I'm the only character who went purely DPS. Everyone else has got like a bit of heals and this, and Costa's got some fucking tank ability. I think he's able to like tank some stuff, and I'm like, oh, I shoot arrows, and that's about it. Anyway, we fought this thing for 15 minutes and we did manage to fucking kill it. It was utterly pointless, but it was a lot of fun. We were literally running around in circles. Both the handlers died at one point, and like they were our healers. So me and Costa were like literally just running around in circles, doing whatever we could to like crowd control until they could like spawn back in and run back to the fucking fight. The server disconnected me at one point in the fight, and then one of the healers died, and so it was like just Costa running around in circles at one point, like desperately trying to stay alive, and like it was pretty fucking funny. But we got it done, and yeah, it was like it was good fun, right? Like I think those are the experiences you want from a raid boss. Are those loony? We somehow managed to scrape through. We tried. The only reason we even did it, I was like, when we did that attempt, I'm like, yeah, it's been 2 minutes and we've done fucking 4% on his health bar. I don't think we are capable of this, guys. And they're like, no, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. I'm like, if any of us dies, we're fucked. But we sort of got into that rhythm and worked out the circle, and we were doing okay. The only time it would fuck up was when one of us, like me, when I'd steal threat and Costa wasn't ready to steal it back again. That was the only time it got really hairy, because the circle would stop. He'd like sort of beeline for me across the circle, straight through the healers. And because I didn't have fucking threat meters, I couldn't tell how much threat I was pulling. I don't even know if threat is how it works in ESO, if I'm being frank. Anyway, it very much seems like it. Anyway, and then there's like an antiquities system now, which is sort of like treasure hunting. When I first heard that they were adding it, I was like, oh, archaeology is probably one of the shittiest things I've ever seen them add in World of Warcraft.
Well, because WoW did it so poorly. It was kind of just you clicking on stuff, right? Or like, I'm going to go to this area and just put a flag down. Like, cool.
It was shit-tastic.
I think they got rid of it, didn't they?
Did they get rid of it?
I don't know. Maybe they didn't.
I think it's still there. It's just nobody does it anymore. But anyway, this is pretty fucking involved. It like involves puzzle, like working out puzzles and puzzle solving, and then there's like digging. Like the digging is its own puzzle system and all that kind of stuff. Like,
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it like I asked the creative director Rich, like what they had in mind, who they had in mind for this, and they're like solo players, really. Like it's something for solo players to do, and it makes a lot of sense. It's this activity you can do while you're playing on your own that'll give you opportunity to go to areas that you might not have before, which is cool. And because everything is level scaled in ESO, there's not really like you could sort of just go do it. Like there's not really a danger of you wandering into territory you shouldn't be in necessarily. Like obviously there is territory you shouldn't be in, but it's like less of a danger. Like you can always sort of still get there. Whereas in World of Warcraft, when I was leveling up old characters to fill out a specific hole in my auction house inventory, my material gathering, I'd often wander into areas that I shouldn't be in just so I could gather materials that like above my character's ability to really survive in those areas. Just because I didn't really care if they died. I just wanted the material. I just wanted the gathering. Anyway, it's not really the case here, which is cool, and it sort of gives you the opportunity to explore. And I guess if you were to team it up with the treasure hunting thing, then it would be like even more of a reason to just roll around and collect things.
Yeah,
which I think a lot of people really enjoy doing in Skyrim. It's a big part of why people play hundreds and hundreds of hours of that game. And so I think, I honestly think ESO is one of those games that is overlooked because it has that, MMO tag when you can actually get away with playing it pretty fucking solo.
Oh, yeah.
And the times when you play with other people just make it more interesting, right? Like far more interesting. It's like I know I ignored it for a long time for that exact reason. But yeah, the storytelling, the fucking holy shit. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but like it's all fully voice acted. Like the whole game's fully voice acted. But on the previous server, they haven't implemented the voice acting yet. What they've done is they've done like text to speech, so they can get the timing.
Microsoft Sam's.
Holy shit! Because like you hear them while you're riding past areas, and they'll just be sort of like casually yapping, and you like hear them like just, and they're like, "But what am I to do? How can you tell me that is the soul gem?" And you're like, "What the fuck? What's this dude talking about? Soul gems?" There was one word in particular they couldn't pronounce, and it's fucking fucking how they were saying Skyrim really fucking weird, and it was juicy. I loved it to bits. Anyway, I don't know if I'm supposed to mention that at all, but it was very entertaining. It will not be there in the final version, but they should do it. They should do a DLC pack. You know, like you got like announcer DLC for Dota and shit. They should do like a Microsoft Sam DLC for all of ESO where they just replace all of the voice lines with.
Maybe you can do that. Maybe it's like an accessibility option where you can just have it read you text,
or an add-on.
Yeah.
Ooh la la.
There you go.
But yeah, good times.
I interviewed Rich 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago at QuakeCon. He took me through Merkmeyer ESO DLC. I sat with him for I can't remember how long, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, just like a one-on-one session with with him taking it through.
Yeah.
So he seems like a good dude.
Yeah, he's very personable. I had a pretty long chat with him. I think like half an hour. He's good. Yeah, I had a lot of insight. They really, they pay a lot of attention to what they're trying to do in that game. Cool.
Sweet. All right, Half-Life Alyx.
Half-Life Alyx. I finished it.
Yeah.
I reviewed it for ozgamers.com. You can go read that now if you like.
Or you can go to Metacritic and just scroll down the bottom and you'll find it.
Yes, that will work.
Down the bottom.
Down the bottom. Go to the... Or I don't even think you have to do that. Let's just have a quick check. Could you click on Half-Life Alyx? And then... Oh, yeah. Click on the mixed review. The one mixed review. That feels bad. That's nuts to me. That is actually nuts to me. That there is only one mixed review. I was talking about this with Frisco the other day on Discord. On our Discord, you can jump on our Discord and chat with us. Chat about all sorts of things. Fucking all kinds of things. Fucking hell. But yeah, Frisco was saying I was being a bit harsh on Half-Life Alyx, and like on the podcast last week, and I do actually understand how he arrived there, because I think I was maybe a little bit harsh, right? Maybe a little bit harsh on the podcast, but that's the process of the podcast. I think that's like the whole fucking idea of this podcast in the first place was to sort of talk things out prior to writing a review, or that's how I pretty much always use the podcast as
stealing my ideas.
Board.
That's what it is. It finally comes out.
I'm stealing all Luke's ideas.
Luke doesn't like loadouts in Call of Duty. I gotta go get
I'm gonna write a fucking thing on that. Fuck off, mate. Get the fuck out of here. This motherfucker. Of all the ones you would pick. Anyway. Anyway, he was saying that the world needs an avatar of VR games, right? Because I described it as the avatar of VR. The world needs it. And I guess on some level it does, but like I find myself like struggling to accept that as reasoning for like the game itself, I just don't think it's good enough. You know, at the end of the day, I don't think it's as good as it should be.
Do you feel like that reviewers they've got VR games on one side and then games on another, and they're going, oh yeah, this is the best or one of the best VR games, but when you put it up against other games, it's sort of kind of just middling, but they're just going like, oh, it's a really good VR game. Like, you go and watch a 3D movie, right? And you're like, oh, Avatar's really good in 3D, but it's kind of like, it's like an average movie, that type of thing.
Yeah, I think it's so fucking tricky, right? Because Half-Life Alyx, like, without VR, like, functionally wouldn't work. Like, just straight up wouldn't work. Like, I know Valve said in an interview that they reckon that at some point someone's going to mod it so that it works without VR.
Already did. There was a command line you can do.
Really?
Yeah, you just like, it's like no mouse or keyboard and boom.
So it's not going to work though. I don't think like it works on any level. There's so much about that game that like hinges on be like playing fucking, I don't know, Wii tennis with a control pad or something. Like, it just wouldn't fucking, like, yeah, you might get it to functionally work, but it wouldn't be playing Wii tennis, right? Like, you'd be separate from the fucking core experience.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so tricky from that perspective. In that, yeah, I think you do at some level have to review it as a VR game because it only exists as a VR game. But at the same time, it is still a video game that exists alongside every other fucking video game. So I think it deserves to be compared to its contemporaries, and it falls short all over the fucking place. Then there's the fact that, you know, I think a lot of people who reviewed it maybe haven't played a lot of VR games. You know, like, how many reviews are there for Half-Life Alyx? 51?
52, I think. Oh, 51. Yeah.
Let's have a look. Boneworks has 6. 6 reviews. And what else? Beat Saber. Beat Saber has... When it loads, whenever you want. Come on, let's go. 6 reviews, right? So it sort of feels like 45 more people jumped into VR to check this one out. And obviously that's not entirely fair. I didn't review Beat Saber. I didn't review Boneworks, not on Metacritic sites anyway. Or formally, I've spoken at length about both of them on this podcast. But like, even if fucking half of those people only ever got into VR for the first time with Half-Life Alyx, the impact that playing a fucking VR game of this, if this was your first VR game, I think it would be so staggering an experience that would be very difficult to contextualize that experience and to find a way to push the awe you feel when you first play a VR game, VR game for the first time, push that away to analyze it critically. I have already been getting fans crawling out of the woodwork to tell me what a good job I've done. I've been accused of contradicting myself because I could describe it as an above average technology and design, and then I later go on to say it is exceptional technology. Apparently above average and exceptional are contradictory terms, whatever. Obviously, I've been accused of clickbait a lot. It's not really what I was going for, but I don't really give a fuck about OzGamers clicks. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't get paid by click. I get paid The pay's already coming in. Like, I think I make fucking valid criticisms, and I am staggered that nobody else did, and I am fucking blown away that nobody else thinks that as games go, this one didn't really fucking do much. It is, like I said last week, unbelievably unambitious. I mean, I understand by the end, I had warmed to it a bit, but only because of the story, and only because of my attachment to Half-Life as a series, only because I was interested with how it grew the Half-Life franchise, which might be a fucking moot point if they never make another fucking Half-Life game, and it's not like they said that they will, right? I don't think. I mean, they said, oh, yeah, we're looking into it, but like, what the fuck? How many fucking years was it between episode 2 and fucking Half-Life, Alyx? Who the fuck's going to wait? Something like that. So what are we going to wait? Another 13 fucking years?
Yeah.
So that, as a fan of the series, I love the storytelling. As a fan of the technology, I think they do a phenomenal job with, it's obvious that they are the masters of the technology that they invented in the fucking first place. Well done at being the best at a game you made up. But in terms of a game, I think it actually falls over quite often in some fundamentally basic ways. And I've got it. The best thing is I recorded my entire playthrough. So I've got it all there. I've got me reaching over my fucking shoulder to grab a clip under pressure and not being able to do it. It wasn't until the end of the game when I worked out the best way to do it. And the best way to do it is to lean your head over to make sure it recognizes where your fucking shoulder is supposed to be. Because if I stand tall with good posture while I'm fucking shooting and then reach, it thinks that my fucking hand is too far. I'm grabbing at some, like, I don't know, fucking at my titties or some shit, right? Like, it's got no clue where my fucking shoulder is. And so, is it because I stand tall or am I hunched? I've got no idea. Whatever the fuck it is. Like, I have to if I lean my head over and grab, it works every single time. And if I don't, it fucks up. It fucked up putting things away in the shoulder. It fucked up, like, that particular sequence fucked up quite often. I think it's an OG Vive thing. I don't know. I'm sure it never happened with the index. I'm sure that's why Valve didn't want people to review it without the index, because that's their ideal way to play it. It's that old, caveat of please play Ori and the Will of the Wisps on the Xbox One X, right? It's the
Xbox
S
One, yeah.
But like, yeah, I played it on what I had, and I think based on sheer fucking manufacturing issues, most people do not have an index. So I don't think me reviewing it on Vive is out of fucking order.
Also, not even just in manufacturing, just cost. Like, it is one of the most expensive ones out there. The Oculus and the Vive, there are some versions of the Vive that are pretty expensive, but I think the Oculus has gone for like the cheaper. You can get the Go pretty cheap, but the Quest, the Quest is pretty cheap. So yeah, I mean, there's entry level sort of markets for it, but Valve has decided to go for higher end VR.
Yeah, like they're definitely aiming at the high end. And then the AI is woeful. And I don't think that, Half-Life was ever remembered for its spectacular AI outside of opposing force. But it had competent AI, I think. It always had competent AI. And like replaying through levels is when I noticed that there were like fucking fuck all enemies, that they always come in waves. Like, it is purely waves. I suppose that's the problem, right? I think the problem I have is that every hand wave explanation feels so fucking cynical to me. Like, every single oh yeah, well, you know, they didn't want to overwhelm players, right? I'm playing on hard. Why is me being why am I being overwhelmed by 3 fucking combine? The only reason I'm being overwhelmed by them is because they take 5 fucking bullets, 5 fucking headshots to kill. Right? That's why I'm being overwhelmed by them. And when they shouldn't take that many, like that doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense that they take 5 headshots to fucking kill. They on hard in Half-Life 2, I went back and fucking checked 2 headshots to kill. Yeah, 5 is too many, and it has a cascading effect on the fucking on other parts of the game. That's the thing, right? Like every little thing, every little mistake has these cascading effects that it just seems like people just didn't give a shit about, right? Like when they reviewed it, like I guess they didn't care. That most of the game, maybe one day I will go through the fucking video and count minutes a minute how much time you spend walking from place to place, or warping from place to place, as it were, versus combat. But I don't think it comes off looking very good. It's got to be about 90-10, like maybe 80-20 at best. Is spent 80% of your time is spent walking from place to place, or dragging your hand through a fucking wall, lighting up some fucking electric wires or something to do the same puzzle for the 18th time. You know, like it just repeats. There's no reason this game had to be fucking 10 hours long. It took me 10 hours to finish. Probably 9 hours to finish, really. Yeah, like there's no reason it needed to be that long. Just, I don't know. If it's gonna be some sort of Alyx spin-off, make it a spin-off. Charge $40 for it. Like fucking, yeah. Don't charge full price and then artificially lengthen it by making me walk further, or so I can find the ammo I require to put 5 fucking bullets into some cunt's head, right? Like. That's just, it's annoying.
Are they patching the game or anything like that? Have they been putting updates out?
Yeah, there've been a couple of updates so far. They had one to fix how you turn, I believe. Like they had a turning fix, and they had another one. There was another one pretty recently that I can't remember what it did, but neither of them ever really impacted me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty flabbergasted about the fucking reviews it's gotten, if I'm being honest. Because the idea that like, what's the lowest score outside of me? All right, I'm the obvious outlier. There isn't a score below an 8, and there is no way. The lowest review is GamesBeat. It's an incredibly immersive experience. It's just one I didn't really want to be immersed in right now. How is that an 8? That I'm sure the rest. I haven't read the rest of you. That's unfair.
Yeah, but that's your finishing line.
Good
right?
Lord, like
finishing paragraph.
Yeah, right. Like, I said it in my review. Like, I think it is a remarkable fucking achievement that the game has reached a point where I don't feel sick when I play it. Instead, I feel bored. I do honestly believe that, but I did feel bored playing it. I did get bored because it was the same thing over and over and over again. You just cycle through the same 3 things. Hunting for ammo, doing unbelievably simplistic puzzles that do not require physics, and then combat that involves unbelievably dumb AI and not that many enemies. I don't know. I just don't think it's a good game.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible technology. In terms of as a tech demo, spectacular. Like one of the best ever. And I've got no problem with falling in love with tech demos. As the fucking tattoo on my arm will fucking demonstrate, but I didn't
You
fall in
rage
love
too.
with this. Right, Rage 2. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
All right.
enjoy it whenever your headset arrives in 16 weeks.
Weeks. Yep. All right. Next up, Predator Hunting Grounds. Let's talk about this. But I'm going to let you talk about what it is because I don't want to sit here and bash it. All right. Predator Hunting Grounds. Like, what is it? What type of game is it? Tell us.
An asymmetrical multiplayer
Survival game? Horror survival?
competitive. I wouldn't say horror. Competitive
Comedy?
shooter, I guess. Comedy. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I. Predator Hunting Grounds. It's a Predator game, right? Theoretically, one player is the Predator. 4 players are soldiers, Marines. I don't know. And there was a free weekend on over the last weekend where you could play the game, and yeah, it it exists, I suppose. One person is the Predator. They've got an array of abilities. They do Predator things. The other 4 are Marines. Both groups are trying to murder as many people as possible for some reason. I don't really understand that. I guess it's to give the Marines... I never played as a Marine. Like, the tutorial doesn't have you play as a Marine.
Right.
And the games I actually managed to get into, I was the Predator every time. So I had no fucking idea what the Marines are supposed to be doing or how they do things or why they do things.
So they get given tasks, like missions to complete.
Right.
It's kind of like a go from point A to point B to point C. And every time you sort of complete a task, you're led to a new area. It's like, you got to get to this camp and you've got to find a bunch of documents, and then once you get the documents it takes you off to another area and you've got to complete that task, and eventually you do everything and you've got to get to the chopper. You got to excavate.
To the chopper.
Excavate. Evacuate.
Excavate.
You start digging.
You start digging. Yeah. As the Predator, your only challenge is to kill
the humans,
the actual human players, not any, like, you can kill AI and you can do it with impunity. It didn't seem to do anything. It didn't seem to give you the ability to find the humans better or anything like that. It didn't seem like any fucking reason for you to do it except for, I guess, your general bloodlust. But yeah. You can kill, and you can kill pigs and eat them, which doesn't seem very predatory. I think it gives you back health.
I think it does. Yeah.
I had the needle thing that he sticks into himself. That gave me back health as well. So I don't know why I'd need to eat pigs. That actually gave me back way more health than eating a pig did. So anyway, I would not have put this free weekend up. I would have used the coronavirus as an excuse to cancel the whole thing or something. I don't know. I wouldn't have gone out there with this game. I do not think it is in any state to be released to the public. Because if I had played this at a preview event, I would be, and at preview events, there's always all these like provisos, all these like qualifiers. There's always like, this is unfinished code, and you've got to understand, we're still working on these sorts of things, but this is an idea of where we want the game to go, right? I've never played a game I can't recall playing a game at a preview event that it was in as bad a state as this was. Like
State of Decay 2 was close, but
pretty close.
that was still fun, right?
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
this game is out in 3 weeks. It's done.
Yeah.
This game is done, and they're doing this for stress tests. They're not going to be changing stuff in this game.
No. And they would have to change basically everything about it. I mean, it doesn't, like I was saying, I don't understand why the Predator does anything he does except for hunt and kill the Marines. And I killed you guys without any fucking hassle, and I was goofing hard.
We weren't trying to kill you. The game where it was me and Nate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't trying
to. I was on half health. I jumped down. You were shooting me, and it didn't matter. I just walked up and fucking stabbed you, right? And then I just stabbed Nate, and it didn't fucking matter at all. And then I stood there and I ripped the trophy. I did the slow. You've got 2 options for the trophy. You can take the quick trophy, which I think only gets you the skull, or you can get the full trophy where you get the spine as well. And I did both full trophies on both of you while AI was shooting me, like unmolested. It just didn't matter. I just stood there and yep, cool, yep. It didn't matter, right? It doesn't feel like there's any challenge for the Predator. You guys did have me on the run like once when you shot me. I don't know. Do you guys have like a health bar over me, or you just?
No, we can't see a health bar.
Right,
but we weren't. We could see you. We weren't trying to shoot you. We were just. I think we were fucking around. We were going to team up at one stage.
I was following you guys for ages. I don't know if you guys could tell where I was. I know you could. You definitely spotted me a bunch.
Yeah.
Right, and then you worked out that you could just fucking rapid spot me or something.
Yeah, you just mash the spot button, and there's no like cooldown on it.
Yeah.
And so you just mash it, and eventually you'll hit the Predator, who can go invisible, right? Who can cloak, and it's got this sort of like outline or like see through, like you can sort of see them. And so you just mash it, and then once you do that, you spot the Predator, and they are outline marked for a couple of seconds, and you can see them through everything: trees, branches, leaves. And then you can just sit there and trace them and just keep mashing that button, and it'll just keep marking them. So you're like, all right, now what do I do? Like, I'm an invisible alien running around, and you can still see me.
I followed you guys for ages. I felt like I was doing a good job with that, just being a real creeper. And then suddenly one of you spotted me. I was invisible at the time, so I was pretty impressed by that. Like, actually saw me. Because I was jumping from tree to tree at that point. You didn't like use the spot mechanic. You just saw me.
Yeah.
And one of you saw me and like lit me up a bit. And there was like, the green blood was coming out. I'm like, oh shit. And you guys like harassed me for a bit. And I thought that was pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
That brief 15-second window.
Yeah.
That was entertaining. And then suddenly you guys started like hitting the spotting button. And I'm like, no, I've escaped. And I'm like healing myself, and I'm like, you can't see me. I'm invisible. What the fuck? How are you like shooting at me through trees and shit? I'm like freaking out. There was nothing I could do. And then like
I've got video of the purpose of the Predator is like he's the hunter, right?
Yeah.
And at no stage during this game, when it was just Nate and I running around, because we haven't even talked about the matchmaking issues, but there's no stage where I should leave Nate and start chasing you.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
And being like, I'm going to run off and find him because I can see you from fucking miles away because I'm just mashing the E button to be like, spot. And then like it'd highlight you for 4 seconds, 5 seconds. And I just keep pressing it and it'd keep you highlighted forever. So I was like, I can come chase you now. Like, that's not the point of what he's supposed to be the scary character.
And the turnaround, like, so when I got close, I was able to kill you guys in like 3 hits. But until then, until you get real close, the Predator is full-blown vulnerable, like proper vulnerable, like in a fucking state, because you guys can shoot. You can see me from fucking forever away, and your guns have fucking hella range. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but I can't close the distance, and I can't retaliate because you've got the fucking shoulder cannon. But that has like a 2-second wind up. It doesn't have anywhere near the fucking range you guys have, and it
I don't think it does much damage.
And shit all rate of fire as well. Like it's a 2-second wind up. It fires, and then it's like cooldown for like 2 seconds or some shit. I can only pop one off every 5 seconds, so I can't even fucking retaliate until I get close to you. So like my options are, if I'm more than 5 meters away, I'm fucked, and if I'm inside of 5 meters, you're fucked. And that's not really how that's supposed to work. I think I shot you with the shoulder mounted cannon once, maybe, and I was just taking potties. I think like Nate was talking about how the inverted controls were fucked.
I don't think he could invert the controls. Yeah, because he's a weirdo. He thinks it's a flight simulator.
It is weird. It's upsetting, but the aiming for the shoulder mounted cannon feels like it's geared for a controller as well. It's very clearly a PlayStation port, which is, I guess fine, but they haven't done much work to make it work well on
PC.
On PC, yeah.
I didn't even know you could change your controller buttons. They had to put out a Twitter message to tell people how to change your buttons on PC because it was under controller settings.
Yeah,
you had to like flick through a bunch of controls, like actual controls on the screen. Eventually, you'd get to one that said customize buttons. You'd click on that, and then there was a keyboard and mouse tab in there.
Yep.
So yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. What else? As the Predator, I was constantly like, it's got this auto running across tree branches mechanic.
That stuff looks, animation-wise, looks cool. Like when he's climbing across branches and whatnot, looks cool. That's the most impressive thing I think I've seen about the game.
It falls apart when, for whatever reason, you are no longer on the tree branch anymore. But you're still stuck in that animation, walking up and down like along a branch.
Yeah.
And you can't like move. You can only move left or right. You can't move forward or backwards anymore. That's when it falls to bits and doesn't really work anymore. Yeah, so that's not good. What else? I think it was
the enemy AI is terrible.
Oh, dog shit. Absolute dog shit.
I don't know what it's doing. It just kind of, it's not challenging. They just kind of shoot you and nothing really much happens, and they'll just run past you, kind of just stand there. I've got a video of Nate and I walking up behind an enemy AI, and he's just standing there, and we're both trying to figure out what the melee button is, because at this stage we didn't know you could change buttons, and we didn't know what the buttons were. And it's both of us standing behind this AI character trying to figure out how to melee, and he has no clue that we're there. Like, it's super dumb.
Yeah.
So yeah, the AI is terrible. There was a game that I played with 3 other people, and like I told you before, where we got to the first base camp, and we spotted the Predator up in the tree, and I did the same thing. We were just pinged, and then all 4 of us just chased him, and we killed him. That was the last game that I had with it. Like we just we left the mission and just chased this Predator around, and killed it.
I think it took me 25 minutes to get into a game.
Well, matchmaking was broken the first day.
Right. So that's how you want to release your stress test, is with broken matchmaking. But yeah, no, I didn't go back to it after that game. I mean, it's balked. It just doesn't. It's not good. It's not a good game. And who could have predicted it, Luke? Who could have predicted that this game wouldn't be good?
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, Luke. Oh, you did.
It was me. I think it was me.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I didn't want it to be bad. I just said people should be cautious.
Yeah.
And then the CEO decided to light me up on Twitter about it. Oh, no.
Yep. Have you hit him back on it or?
No, I think I'm waiting for the actual game to come out.
Right.
And then I'll. Yeah. Hey, remember this? Yeah, I'm surprised this game is coming out in its state it's in. I don't think. I just don't think it's a fun game from what we played.
Yeah.
It seems way too broken. There's too many game design issues that I think it's got. I feel like the Predator should be this overpowering force, and he doesn't feel like he is that. Just from the games that I've played, where we just had no problems dealing with this thing at all. And it's just really strange. I just don't think it's going to be a good game, and especially for the price it's going for. It's I don't know how much it is back in Australia. It's probably like a $60 game, something like that. It's pretty close to nearly a full price game. This should be way less, like $20 game. I feel like somewhere around there, but
if that.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they can sort out a bunch of issues when they launch, but even then, I don't know if it'll be a fun game. It just doesn't seem like there's much there going for it.
No. Yeah, no.
I saw your video of the climbing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It just was like your first game. It was just broken. Like, everything you seemed to try and do was just broken.
It was just goofy, yeah. And like you're collecting jewels for some. Why? Were Marines collecting jewels? I felt like I heard you guys say something about.
Yeah, we were
jewels.
picking up some sort of jewels, and I think it adds to your experience. You level up in the game, you get new cosmetic unlocks, new weapons, that sort of stuff.
Why?
New perks.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't use half the like fucking Predator's perks. I didn't have like the net launcher or anything until you like level up and stuff, so you're at like a specific fucking disadvantage if you've just started playing and stuff. Like, ugh, yikers. Yeah, fuck that game.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's gonna be good.
No.
You know, and so this is the team that made the Friday the 13th game. I reviewed that for Survivor.
Yep.
I think I gave it a 4 when I reviewed it. Again, like when that game launched, it was broken. Matchmaking was fucked. They had a lot of issues with just bugs, crashing, server issues. The way that you could sort of, I guess, like Jason was very OP at certain stages. You kind of just teleport right in front of people and just kill them instantly. Like there was no skill to that. It was just kind of, you'd run around. Anyway, that game never took off really. I think when it launched, it had a big spike people playing it, and that was a lot of the like Dead by Daylight community, and then it just died, like completely died. There's still people playing it, but it's not a big community. It's not like a Dead by Daylight community where that game has grown. I think it's probably grown because it's got such a good community around it. It's a very similar style of game, and that's why I was excited for Friday the 13th, because that sounded really cool, but they just couldn't pull it off. And I had hopes for this Predator game, but the trailers that I saw, every time I saw a trailer, it didn't look good. And now that I've played it, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what I expected. So, fair enough.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get some codes for that. Probably not. In which case, I don't know if I'm going to buy it. Probably not. I could buy it and then refund it.
Kind of. Yeah, I guess. Anyway,
Predator Hunting Grounds out in 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yay. Cool.
Last one on the list. Is it?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII
Remake.
Oh, the remake, not the original.
Not the original.
Half of the game. Is it half or a quarter of the game? We don't even know yet.
I don't know. Fucking who knows? A fifth. Not even the good part. I'm so fucking blown away. Anyway.
You think they should
just broke street date?
They should just jump to
just go straight to the golden saucer. Yeah, this is this broke street date in Australia. They started like selling it, which is interesting in and of itself because it's fucking 8 days away from when it's supposed to be out. So that's pretty crazy.
Was it? About nine or 10 days out.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out on the 10th, right? And
today's the first, or second for you.
Well, it came out on the first for us.
Yeah.
I definitely thought it was an April Fool's gag when I first saw it, but no, it isn't. So I went and grabbed a copy. I practiced all the, very careful social distancing elements. So I was, gave everyone 1.5 meters between me and them. Wore my fucking face mask. I did my best. I did my duty as a citizen. And in this circumstance, I believe buying video games is critical to my job and as an essential worker, according to the Australian government.
What isn't?
I felt obliged. I know. Yeah. I felt obliged to go get one. Anyway, go get it. So I did. And I don't like it. Oh my god, I don't like it.
Are you saying that Final Fantasy was bad all along? I think that's what you're saying. Final Fantasy VII was always bad.
It's definitely not what I was saying. But holy shit, man. Yoinks. I'll tell let's start with what I do like. I've been playing on remote play. Because my wife is using the television as her monitor because she's got a laptop. She plugs it into the TV. She can see it really big, which is good. She's got comfy chairs there and stuff like that, so that's better. But I can play on remote play and play on my computer. So that's pretty awesome. Now on to what I don't like.
No, that's not. That's the console you're talking about.
There's a really good chance that I just don't like Final Fantasy games. There is a really strong chance that I just don't like Final Fantasy games because, oh my god! Like, first of all, the dialogue in this is awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah,
it is bad. I cannot understand how anyone is listening to this and going, wow, cool. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Well, that you really nailed the reading of that line. Like, first of all of the lines themselves are I shared a link. I clipped out a bit of my boy Cloud being fucking goofy as fuck. There's at the start of the game, you get off a train and you roll on over to blow up a power plant or do you know it's pronounced Marco power plant? I've spent literally decades thinking it was pronounced Mako. I've spent my entire life thinking it was pronounced Mako because that's how you pronounce Mako shark. But apparently it's Marco. I had no idea. Anyway, they keep calling it a Marco power plant. It's driving me bananas. You roll on in to kill, to blow up this Marco power plant, and then, hey, you just make your way through. And you've got these characters with you. One of them is like a pretty familiar voice. I think he's been in some stuff. I can't remember what he's been in, but like the voice is distractingly familiar because he's not like he's not someone from like video games. That's like if it was Troy Baker or something, I'd be like, oh yeah, Troy Baker, yeah, no, classic Troy Baker voice, unless he was doing his. Oh no, it's Nolan North who does the fucking Penguin, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, you'd be like, oh yeah, that old chestnut. Biggs or Wedge, one or the other.
Like, I'm having a look. Oh yeah.
Like, what's he from?
I know his face. I know this guy's face.
All right, I gotta look it up now.
But
I hope you all enjoy listening to me click and clack. Yeah, that's him. That's definitely him. I haven't even got a link to his fucking name, but I seen him, and I know it's him. Yep, Wedge. Badger from Breaking Bad. That's exactly it. It's so fucking distracting. Anyway, so he's in it, and I can't get over that. Anyway, there's this one bit where your boy, Cloud, the main character, rolls up, and this chick Jessie gets trapped under some rubble, and he lifts the rubble up, and he goes, "Can you walk?" And Jessie's the thirstiest chick in any video game ever. She is like horny on main, and she responds with, if I couldn't, believe me, you'd be the first to know." Explicitly saying that she wants to jump his fucking bones. Or implicitly saying, I suppose. Implicitly saying she wants to jump his fucking bones. And like Cloud responds with, I'll take that as a yes. Yeah, that's because it was a yes. What the fuck does "I'll take that as a yes" mean? And Jessie's like, like, what the fuck else? Like, she's clearly flirting. Very obviously flirting. Cloud's like, well, I'll take that as a yes. Yeah, dickwad. That's what she was saying. She was saying yes. You're supposed to take it as a yes. What the fuck? Holy shit. That's obviously not a deal breaker. And I'm way more upset
That was when
about
you
this
switched it off.
than I should be. But oh my god. Like, what the fuck? And there's that bit where they're like, you set the time, like, you got to beat the
boss.
Like, the boss. Holy shit, the boss took me fucking forever. Because it takes forever. It took me. It was like that fucking. It was like that world boss fight from ESO, except I think it took twice as long, and it was nowhere near as much fun. You're doing like one fucking damage to this thing each hit, and it's got fucking 40,000 health. I don't understand how did they come to the conclusion that would be good fun? And maybe I was missing something, but I was playing on the harder difficulty and I didn't fail the boss fight. It's not like it came close. But anyway, before you do that boss fight, you have to set a fucking timer.
Yeah.
For the bomb. It's like, do you want to do 20 minutes or 30 minutes? And I set it for 20 minutes because I'm like, because if it takes longer than 30 minutes, I'm going to turn the fucking game off. Right? That's why I'm setting it to fucking 20 minutes. Anyway, so I set it to fucking 20 minutes, and Barrett's like, "Oh, cocky, aren't you?" I guess. Am I? I don't know. Like, I don't feel cocky. I'm more setting the
My refund timer.
Yeah. It took me 6 minutes to get out of that section.
Yeah.
If it had taken me 5 times as long, I would have already taken it back to EB Games on the 7-day return thing. Like, holy absolute fuck. There's a part during the boss fight with the Scorpion when Barrett actually says, "Just do the same thing again and again and again." Like, you don't have to throw it in my face, motherfucker. Yeah, I know. That's what we're doing here.
I know how video games work.
Yeah. Like, I know I've been doing this for the last 25 minutes. You pointing it out doesn't really help the situation. It just makes me more upset. Like, Jesus Christ. Oh my god. So aggravating. What did I, like, I've got all these bits. I've been recording my playthrough. I'm not going to record all this one because I can barely bring myself to play it. But like, outside of, I've dropped the difficulty. I've already done it. I don't give a fuck anymore. I was playing on normal. I've dropped it to story. And the reason I've done this is because I do not want... The combat is mashing the fucking square button until things are dead.
Yeah.
Right? There's a little bit of variance where you like stagger them, and there are some skills where it's easier to stagger them, but it didn't fucking matter because I just beat them up anyway. I've got so many fucking potions that anytime it feels like I'm low on health, I just pop a fucking potion. So I just dropped it to story mode so things die a bit quicker. Because if I'm just going to mash the same button over and over again, I may as well just mash the same button over and over again for a shorter period of time. And yeah, I don't know, man. It's like one corridor connects to another corridor, and I'm running from like battle to battle and terrible voice acting to terrible voice acting. And it's like Half-Life Alyx if it didn't have VR or Reese Darby, right? How if it had Badger from Breaking Bad instead of fucking what's his face from Flight of the Conchords? Like Murray from Flight of the Conchords is infinitely more entertaining than Badger from Breaking Bad, I'm afraid. And yeah, the lack of VR in Final Fantasy VII is really bumming me out as well. Yeah, I imagine that if this was in VR, people would give it non-stop 10s. It'd be the highest rated game of the year. Because you just run down corridors going from fight to fight and solving extremely simplistic puzzles. Now, see, Frisco, now that's me being harsh to Half-Life Alyx and Final Fantasy VII at the same time. But anyway, yeah, I'm not enjoying myself. And I cannot imagine where this game is going. It cost me $100 and it's not all.
Where did you buy it from? Oh, you bought from EB, right?
EB Games. Yeah. And that's more than it cost me to buy Final Fantasy VII back in the day when I pulled my money with my brothers so that we could afford to purchase it.
And you got the full game back then.
And we got all 3 discs.
Yeah, I've seen people talking about it, like not knowing that it's been split up. And we still don't know in how many discs this thing's going to be and when it eventually comes out.
How many parts? Yeah. No, we still got no idea. And apparently they've fleshed out Midgard a lot, but nobody knows how they've done that.
Yeah.
I am starting to suspect that they have released it 10 days early and made every reviewer in the world sign a fucking NDA. Because they aren't confident. Like, when does the NDA for this lift? I didn't sign the NDA.
I don't know what I can say.
Oh, okay.
I didn't sign one.
There's an NDA on the old NDA, hey?
Well, no, I didn't sign an NDA, but I guess there's one on some of the sites that I write for.
But has, yes. That's fine. That's fine. Let's see if
OpenCritic might have something.
OpenCritic has reviews expected in 4 days, 8 hours, and 53 seconds.
Okay, so a couple days before release.
Yeah, 3 days. April 6th at 8:03 p.m. apparently.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if they did this release strategy to get it out in the open beforehand or some shit.
Well, it's not out in the US yet.
Right, so it's only here.
I mean, from what I've been reading, it's potentially been delayed in the US. For some people, like Amazon's been sending emails out saying that there's a chance that they don't get it on delivery or like on date.
Right.
So I don't know.
Alrighty, well that's weird. That'd be upsetting, I guess.
I mean, it just means people will cancel it and go digital. And I wonder if there is a strategy behind that, because they have moved the digital preload up like 5 days earlier. I don't know if that's got to do with PlayStation Store changing their throttling for the bandwidth, or if they are planning on dropping this early. So
right,
yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, another thing. When I was at EB Games, the dude tried to upsell me. He
Death Sticks.
No, he's like standing there and he's like making a big show about like he's got his gloves on, he's got like hand sanitizer and all this stuff. He's making a huge show, and then he hits me with, oh, oh, and while you're here, do you want to pre-order some other games? Are you excited for Ghost of Tsushima or The Last of Us? Do you want to pre-order those? And I'm like, oh man, I'm good. I'll just get that. He's like, oh, you're not excited for them? I'm like, that's not what I said. Like, I don't know. Why word it like that? Why say it like that? Come on, just give me the fucking game, man. Like, if I was on the PlayStation Store, it wouldn't ask me these questions. You know, like, maybe.
Do you want to trade in your old games?
Oh no, you're not allowed to trade in anymore. They've cancelled trade-ins.
Yeah. What if you wipe them down real good?
Maybe. No, definitely not. Still not.
What if I know a guy?
What does he do? What do you know about this guy?
He'll take your games. He'll take your old games. Trade them in for
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Done.
Anyway. So I'm gonna persevere and continue to play it a little bit. I just want to see what's different. I want to see what they've done differently. If it is literally just the Midgard section where, you know, Cloud dresses up in ladies' clothes for comedy purposes, I don't think I can do this. It's so badly, so awkwardly written. There's this one sequence that I recorded where which one is it? Let's see, maybe this one. Where like he goes, like, all the dudes, all the guards and stuff, you just sort of fucking whomp them and like murder the fuck out of them. They'll be like, put your hands up, and like, don't move, put your hands up, and then like Cloud will just pull his sword out and they won't start shooting. You're just like, hey, guards, buddies, if he pulls his sword out, you should probably start shooting. Like, if he doesn't just put his hands up and like stop moving, that's when you shoot. But I had this one bit where, please tell me it's no. Oh, I don't think I recorded it. I'm gutted. I had this one bit where he was like, put your hands up, but like Cloud was already mid chopping, so he's like, put your hands up, and it was comedy gold. It was hilarious. Anyway, yeah, you like run around. There's this one part where they're like, oh, we need a medic, and it's directly after you get healing material, like immediately after you get healing material, and they're like, we need a medic. Won't somebody please help me? And I walked over. I'm like, oh, maybe I can like heal this person. No, you can't. They're set dressing. It's just set dressing all over the place. There's specific things you can interact with, and if you interact with anything else, you're doing it wrong, and that's not how the game works. And move on. Like, ugh, fucking hell, what a game. Anyway,
all right, that's coming out soon, next week, for everyone else who's listening.
Yes.
Yeah, man, it's interesting because a lot of the NDAs went out for reviews just before they dropped it in Australia, and I think Europe's getting it early as well. It sounds like.
Right. Cool.
So yeah, I know there's a lot of publications that are not happy about that because they've already signed NDAs. They can't do. I mean, at that stage, reviews probably going to be pretty pointless.
Yeah. For
a lot of sites, like the drop off on that sort of stuff is pretty big once a game is released. So coverage is going to be interesting for this one. I'm curious to see what sort of scores it gets. Judging by the fan base, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's either going to go one way or the other. Like big swings.
Yep. Yeah. I think it's going to be a tricky one for people to review because who knows how fucking long it is, first of all. And second of all, like, what do people want out of a review of this? Like, if I were to review it, I suppose we'd have another Half-Life Alyx situation coming, right? Where I reviewed on the merits of the game itself. And so far, I don't think it's doing much.
Well, like you look at Capcom with Resident Evil 3, right? That came out Oh no, it's not out yet. But the reviews came out last week and
Yeah.
or a couple of days ago, and I've read a lot of negative stuff about it, being like, obviously Resident Evil 2 was very highly praised.
Some people's game of the year and shit.
Yeah, made game of the year lists, and 3 sounds like not received as well, or people were very disappointed in it. But you look at the Metacritic score, and it's like an 80, which is not a bad score, right?
Yeah,
like, that's a pretty good game.
Yeah,
it just the scores don't line up with what people are, what I've read from people are saying. It's really strange. That's a multiplayer mode. I don't know if it's part of Resident Evil 3, but that looks interesting. Is it Resistance? Resident Evil Resistance? They have like a beta for it that's running now.
Don't know.
That looks sick.
Yeah.
It's an asymmetrical game where you play as some sort of director, and you can put zombies and monsters down and take control of them. And whether or not it's like a polished product, but the idea of it and the sort of the way I've seen people putting in traps and monsters and going in and out of zooming in and out of these monsters and that sort of thing looks really interesting, but could be half broken for all I know. This just looks like the sort of game where I'd be like, oh, that'd be sick, to play as a Left 4 Dead game or even the Predator game or something like that. Anyway, but Resident Evil 3, that's decent score, so I'm curious to see where this one goes, if people really swing on it one way or the other.
I think there's no chance they don't give it to a Final Fantasy fan, right? And I suspect Final Fantasy fan is a JRPG fan, and a JRPG fan probably is accustomed to the trappings of the genre, which, based on my experience with Final Fantasy VII Remake, is tediousness.
Yeah, so I would have been interested to review it because I've got no attachment to Final Fantasy VII at all. I haven't played it, so.
Yep. Anyway.
All right. We'll probably talk about that more next week once you've finished it. Finish returning it.
Finish returning it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, should we do some news now?
Let's do it.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remastered got released yesterday on the PlayStation 4. It's coming to PC and Xbox later on in the month, but Activision still couldn't do a surprise drop because it leaked about a day before on the PlayStation Store.
They're leakier than a ship made from a colander. They got holes all over the place. I don't understand. I'm not terribly interested in. I don't have great love for Modern Warfare 2. I don't think it was better than Modern Warfare. I know a lot of people preferred it for whatever reason, but I didn't. I never thought it was a better game. I always loved the first one the most from that series, and I didn't play that remaster either. So I'm probably not going to check it out. It'd be interesting to see if it impacts what Warzone numbers, I guess. But yeah,
well, there's no multiplayer in in the game. So, I believe, I think it's got Warzone in it, or it's got Warzone content with it. I'm not too sure how that works, but anyway. Next up, we've got Remedy, Playdead, and Gen Design signs a publishing deal with Epic Games Publishing. So Remedy obviously have done Alan Wake Control, Quantum Break, Playdead.
Your favorite devs on the planet?
Yeah, Playdead have done Limbo, and what was the other game they did after that? One where you played the Blob. I should probably research this stuff before I start talking about it, right?
I don't know. The Blob.
Inside.
Blob is...
That's right.
Oh, yeah, that's the one,
Yeah. And then Gen Design Studio worked on Shadow of the Colossus and Last Guardian.
Right.
There you go.
Cool.
Yeah, so they've signed a deal with Epic. From what I read, the actual deal itself seems pretty good. Like, basically retaining a bunch of the IPs, and studios get a ton of money back. So it's not, it seems pretty good for them. you can sort of understand why a lot of game studios are leaning towards like the game store they've got set up, because again they're getting more cut from that sort of stuff. It's obviously upsetting a lot of people, but at the end of the day, developers are making more money off of it. Remedy have said that they're working on 2 games now that are in pre-production. One of them is a AAA multi-platform next generation game, and the second game will be a smaller scale game based on the same franchise as the first AAA game. So what that means, don't know, but
no,
it's probably going to. I would think it's either a Control sequel or an Alan Wake sequel or something in those 2. Like, I could see a way for them to do this AAA game and have the smaller scale one sort of link the 2 together really interestingly. Or maybe the other one is like a mobile game or something.
Quantum Break 2.
Quantum Break 2. Like, fuck everybody. Anyway, so yeah, that sounds pretty cool that's happening. But it's awesome that they're making, I guess, more money off of that, because like the deals you read about like Steam sales and how much cut Steam gets compared to like what Epic Games is doing is pretty massive. So hopefully that'll change as things move forward. Next up, we've got Gearbox has been accused of stiffing devs on bonuses.
Yeah, Dan Gaz posted this in our Discord earlier.
It's a Kotaku article from Jason.
Yeah, Jason Schreier.
Yeah.
He's got impeccable sources. Nothing's confirmed, although there is a response from Gearbox in the story itself that does sort of confirm this to some extent. You know, when asked for comment, Gearbox sent over the following statement: blah 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 blah. In the most recent pay period, Gearbox and Talent enjoyed news that Borderlands 3, having earned revenue exceeding the largest investment ever made by the company into a single video game, has officially become a profitable video game. The complaint that people are making is that they did not get as big a bonus as they were expecting. The story goes that basically, Talent was lured to Gearbox based on the reports that after Borderlands 2, like developers like used their bonuses to buy houses and shit.
Yeah, huge bonuses.
But thanks to a different deal this time with 2K, Borderlands had to wear the cost of the DLC and other things prior to incorporating their profits into the profit sharing program that Gearbox has. And so as a result, employees got smaller bonus checks compared to what they were expecting, and people had reportedly, made plans around that. It's a pretty fucking tricky situation. I think it boils down to ultimately like a failure in communication from Gearbox management to the staff. Because if they had set expectations a lot earlier, then staff feel upset about it now. And I guess the real question is, why was that failure? Why did that failure of communication exist? Why did it occur? I guess we could run directly at the idea of it being Hollywood accounting. That's where my mind first went to. The Hollywood accounting is that idea that famously profitable films never make money, never officially make money. You hear stories of writers who took a pay cut to write a script in favor of getting points on the back end, or whatever the fuck the phrase is. Yeah. But basically getting a portion of the box office.
Yeah, like 2% or something.
And then the studio wraps in marketing and all these other factors, and so a movie that wound up making like 600 mil at the box office and cost 50 mil to make never officially turns a profit, and so those writers get stiffed because after you do all this Hollywood accounting, it never made any fucking money. And yeah, certainly that's where my mind first went to when reading this story. But I think it is probably more just a case of failure to communicate the reality of the situation, which is that Gearbox must have taken on some sort of different deal. I think more information is needed to work out if it goes beyond that failure of communication. Like if it is deeper than if there's anything insidious going on. I don't think it's easy to ascribe that, but there is definitely, what's that saying? Never ascribe something to malice when it can be chalked up to incompetence, right? Like, I think that's what's happening here is more a case of incompetence. It doesn't make it better, obviously. People still, were expecting. They worked for lower wages under the assumption that they would get a big bonus, and they never got it. And that's got to be heartbreaking, especially in today's climate. But still, I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a good story. It's definitely worth a read. It's on Kotaku. Yeah. It just makes me think, rethink. I don't know how I look at Gearbox games. I want the developers to make money and stuff. I don't want them to get fucking ripped off. They're the nuts and bolts of it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm sure we probably hear about more regarding that quite soon.
Yeah, I'm sure the story will develop.
Yeah, once more people. Was it like? I feel like there was quite a few people that confirmed this.
Yeah,
like half a dozen or something like that.
Yeah,
from what I recall. And there was comments in there about like. Again, I don't know if they're just taking this out of context or what the exact wording was, but like apparently when they held this meeting, like Randy Pitchford was saying that if you don't like this decision for you guys not getting as much money, then you then quit.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
Yeah, but is that a comment that's been taken out of context and that's not the exact phrasing, but that person has taken it as that way? Like, yeah, it's hard to say like what the exact wording was because it wasn't quoted in the actual article as this is what they exactly said, but more alluded to like, if you don't like it, then quit type stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's I'm sure we'll find out more as things sort of dive in a bit deeper, but it's not good. I mean, it seems like that it was just I talked about like deals going back from Battleborn and having to, the studio losing a lot of money from that, and then having failures from Colonial Marines, and then you look even further back from that with Brothers in Arms never coming out. Like their last big hit would have been Borderlands 2, right? Somewhere around there. That was a long time ago. So they're recouping a lot of costs, and there's talks about that. Like Gearbox possibly going public as a company because they're sort of struggling with finances over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, where that ends up going, we don't know, but we'll see. Okay, I think that's the news. Was that all of it?
That is it.
Nothing else crept up on us while we were recording?
I don't think so.
All right, have we got any questions?
Baz Rose. Also, on the easier difficulty, at least you can use all the guns.
This is a continuation from something.
It clearly is. But he didn't make it a question, and he posted it after we'd recorded the podcast. And so, Baz, you get my Ratchet and Clank sticker of failure for failing to ask a question in the questions channel. It's a new thing I've made up, just in honor of everyone's favorite Ratchet and Clank fan, Dangaz, Dangaz. He loves Ratchet and Clank, and I think it stands as a testament to failure around the world. So it's all you, Baz. Well done. Yeah, that's it. I think that's the podcast.
Oh, that was it. Easy.
That was it.
All right, The Gap. You can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, Spotify, YouTube, all those places you can get your podcasts from. You can find us on The Gap, the GA podcast, the Gap podcast, like all that sort of stuff. It's there somewhere. You can find us on email, thegapodcast@gmail.com if you want to send us any questions. Otherwise, you can jump onto our Discord page, thegapodcast.com/Discord. You can leave us questions in there. We're playing a bunch of games. We've got Modern Warfare, Warzone happening like pretty much every night, it seems like. There's stuff going on. Yep. You can jump in, play some Predator in a couple of weeks if you're crazy enough to buy that game. We got a channel there, but don't know how long that's going to stay. You can also find us on Twitter, twitter.com/thegapodcast, facebook.com/thegapodcast. You can go to our YouTube page, thegapodcast.com/YouTube. You can check out our weekly podcast, which has some video. Last week we put up Joe playing Half-Life for like 30 minutes or something like that.
Nice.
Put up some Bleeding Edge. Put up some... What else did we talk about last week? Maybe that was it.
Warzone?
Call of Duty Warzone. Yeah, I got some Call of Duty Warzone footage in there as well.
Cool.
But yeah, you can go do that. This week, I've got some Predator footage. Oh boy, do I have some Predator footage. And
Sweet.
some Borderlands stuff. So I've been recording Borderlands and some Predator footage. So that should be interesting. I'll put that up there this week as well. So you can go to our website.
We won't put any Final Fantasy in there. I don't think we're allowed to. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to put footage up.
Even though there are probably thousands of people watching streamers on Twitch right now who don't seem to have any repercussions. But they'll probably take down our fucking podcast or something. They'll get us.
In a heartbeat. I put like fucking 9 seconds of the Saving Private Ryan theme song at the end of my Saving Private dealer desk, that level 1 player we carried to win. And it got copyright infringement.
Wow.
On YouTube inside of an hour.
Yeah.
9 seconds. And they didn't take it down. They just get all revenue from the video. Which is why I don't like put videos on YouTube anymore. Because it's fucking infuriating. Anyway.
Maybe they are cracking down. There's only like 90 people watching at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, anyway, you can go to the website, thegapodcast.com. It's got links to all the things we talked about today, including past episodes of the show. You can also, I don't know, what else can you do on there? Read Job's old reviews. He's got Ori review up there. You can go read that if you want. People were checking that out.
Oh my god, remember when I said I was going to write a review of Doom Eternal and then I got a bunch of fucking work commissioned to write reviews for other people and I never wrote a Doom Eternal review? What a fucking clown. What a chump. I can't believe I did Ori and not... Oh, god. So
anyway.
Myself.
That is all thanks to our Patreon members who help support this show and our website. You can go to patreon.com/GA podcast. Thank you to everyone that helps put on this show every week. We really appreciate that.
Unbelievably grateful.
Yeah.
And like I said last week, and it continues to be true, don't put yourself out to support us. If it puts you in a precarious financial position, you're under absolutely no obligation. Yeah, we appreciate everyone who does it, but don't fucking hurt yourself to do it.
Yeah. And that's the show.
Stay safe. Fuck.
You got anything you want to spruik out for this week?
Ozgamers.com to read my Half-Life Alyx review. It's 3,600 words long. It's pretty comprehensive. Obviously, people are only looking at the number and they're very upset with me, which is exactly what I always dream of happening. It's the ideal scenario. And to player 2, to check out my preview of Antiquing in in ESO,
All
Scores Online.
Like antiquing, like putting flour on someone's face.
Putting what?
Is that what you're saying? Antiquing?
Yeah. What is putting flour on someone's face? Go back. What the fuck is putting flour on someone's face? Explain this to me. Is this some weird sex thing? Is this a sex move I don't know about? Do I have to fucking go on Urban Dictionary?
Did you never watch Jackass?
Yeah, I remember Jackass. I don't remember flour on anyone's face. I remember mostly just poopy jokes. What?
All right, I'll get you some videos.
You gotta send me a fucking link. Yeah. Holy shit. Put it in the Discord for everyone. They won't understand what the fuck it means until they listen. That's okay, fair enough.
No, we used to do it like your mate would pass out on like the chair, and then you go get a bag of flour and just smash it across their face.
Good lord, that is fucking rough. You couldn't do anything harmless, like draw a fucking dick on their head? Fucking hell. And it's a waste of flour. Fucking, it wouldn't go.
Cheap. Oh, it used
wouldn't
to be
go
cheap. These days
if you can
it's
find
like
it on a fucking shelf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You can check out my stuff. It's Survivor.com. Last week I had my review go up for the Foundation Controls DLC. And
Nice.
yeah, we had our guide go up as well. We did pretty well on that guide. So seems like nobody else found those fucking cats, but
Suckers.
yeah, losers.
I have the dude who found the fucking vampire in Red Dead before the game was out. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, we found the vampire afterwards.
Oh, it must have been like 2 days afterwards.
It was a little bit afterwards, I think, because...
I don't think so.
Did you get a review code for that?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay, I don't remember. Yeah. All right, that's the show. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I don't know what we're going to do next week. More Final Fantasy. We got a bunch of stuff.
Blade 2.
Mountain Blade 2. You actually bought it. You're crazy.
I did.
All right.
I love that series. I went in. I love it. I'm about it. I'm there for it.
Okay.
Yep.
See you then.
Bye.